movie love. No marketing, BS, money side price wash. Synth Quiz and news. So sit back, relax. Enjoy your favorite crew. Synth Geekery show. Synth Geekery's where it's at. So join the channel. Come on for a chat.
Hey, hi everyone, welcome to Synth Geekery, episode 317, streaming live from Perth, Western Australia. A big g'day from me to all of you. Hope you're having a fantastic synthy Saturday. I am. A couple of little presents just sitting here in front of me, and hopefully we can share those with you guys. It's a little bit quiet on the guest video side. We've got two people missing this week. We've got Andy, who's had to go down to LA, and Ian, who's away. But that doesn't matter because we've got two awesome guys here. We've got Chris and Daren. How are you guys? You guys going good?
Good, mate. Good, mate.
Chris to my right, Darren's below me. Did Daren have to restart or something, did he? Yeah.
Oh, is he frozen?
Yeah, he had to restart. All right, so we'll sort... Oh, here he is back now. Hey, muted though.
Muted.
We'll sort you out in a sec, Daren. You're muted, buddy.
Don't hit that side button.
Oh, there we go. And you could come up a little bit with your volume too. I don't know if the mic's gone farther away or...
Is it, Mike, is it volume up? Is that better? How's that?
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah?
You were on the little quiet side. Tell us in the chat if you agree. Right, let's get stuck into the show. We have got a lot to get through this week. You guys have probably been watching the news synth-wise, and it's been pretty busy, and we've had to sort of probably leave a few things out. I don't know if we've left anything out that's bad. I think we'll probably leave out just the things that we can maybe make those things happen next week. I feel that would probably be the best way to do it. Anyway, but we've got a massive news section at least that we've got to get through, and we've set a topic this week. I feel like the topic should be an interesting one, which you guys have seen is phase distortion. It's something that we haven't really covered on the show before. So the reason why we haven't covered it is because I actually don't own a Casio, and I've always wanted one. So, and I still don't own one. So, if that's going to disappoint you that I don't have a Casio hardware synth to show you, don't worry. I'm actually going to use a VST, which is the Arturia CZV, if you want to say it in the US way. That is just as good, because it's digital. Don't forget the Casio synths are digital. It's using all the correct algorithms. So we are going to talk about phase distortion. We've got Chris here, who's an absolute genius when it comes to electronic engineering. But we've also got people. Join us on the Zoom. On the Zoom, I think it's called. So what do we got? We got Zoom is that one. So join us on the Zoom, bit.ly/Ranzee.zoom. /Ranzee Zoom, one word. There we go. It says it correctly. Don't listen to my words. And that is also going to be pinned in the chat on the YouTube channel. For those who are watching on the other platforms, we're streaming on Kick and Trovo and Facebook Live. And also, we're streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/Synth Geekery, if you're wondering what the channel names are. They're all in the video description, by the way. So hope you guys can enjoy us on those platforms. Sing out if you are on those platforms, because I do keep an eye on the chat on those other platforms as well. I noticed that we've already got a couple of people in Twitch, at least anyway. What else can I tell you? So this week I'm going to introduce you to a couple of little prezzies that I got during the week, so that should be interesting. It's got nothing to do with phase distortion, so that's another topic altogether. And we'll get to that. I think the Saturday Sonority section is going to be pretty beefy this week, so we'll see if we can spin through everything. Price Watch, we've got a scam that we want to reveal to you guys, which was picked up by Henrik, who's JX3D. You guys know him, so well done, Henrik, for that. And he's unable to join us today, but he's going to watch it on the replay. He's got a senior synth stream coming your way after this show, a few hours after this show finishes. So you guys have got a lot to watch on your Saturday. Watch me if you have to, and then go on and join Henrik's show a bit later on while Chris and I snore our heads off in Australia. We are going to get stuck into saying, how's your week been? I'm going to start with Daren. Daren, everything's working, so you should be able to go, how's your week been?
How's my week been? Fine up until fine up until the keyboard didn't work and I couldn't log on. But other than that, yeah, it's been fine. It's going cooler here now, so. But last weekend at Waves in the Park, it was a glorious sunny day. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and it was a great day. So, anyone who was there, thanks for coming. And everyone enjoyed themselves. Food, nice sun, music. What more can you ask for? It was great, and I must say, very nice video, Chris, for your module. It was really nice. Even though I'm not actually really doing much in the modular scene at the moment, unlike you guys, but yeah, really nice video, nice module as well. Yeah, I like video. Good. Yeah, I almost said condemned it then. Cheers, I meant. Mate. I not condemned it.
I condemn your module.
Commend. I condemn your module. Yeah. No, it's got purple knobs on it, so I can't.
Dare you? Yeah, I thought you'd like the purple.
Yeah, it's cool. If I was taking module out, yeah, definitely probably chuck one of them in the rack. So, but yeah, it's great modules, mate, great video. So thumbs up for that. I watched it all back, so I heard what you all were saying. Yeah, cool. But other than that, yeah, that's been my week. Waves in the Park, great. I'm back to work and faffing about in the studio.
Obviously,
so that's my work, Ranz.
Daren, we'll pick your brains about your Wave in the Park thing a bit later. I have seen a couple of little snippets of you that other people have filmed and posted online. I don't know if you've seen those. So yeah,
can't remember.
Yeah.
Probably.
So you're famous, mate.
I wouldn't say that because we was all there. It was pretty good. We was going to do. Andy Brooks took a picture of me on a park bench. Now my plan was afterwards to take my rig and put it on my knee, so we had a park bench photo, park bench compatible, a full rig.
Yeah.
But we forgot to do it before we left.
Wow. So. Yeah. Well, we've got the. We've got the the logos there. Park bench compatible. Bang, there it is. That was designed.
I must say one thing though. As I was playing there, the sun was shining on all the screens, so I couldn't see anything at all. So it was pretty much jamming it really, and just hoping I knew where I was going, what I could do by memory, where things were. But there's a problem because there's obviously families around as well, and Rave Dave's on there. On the set that I was playing, and I can't see any of the Rave Dave vocal sections anywhere because of the sun. So I'm constantly doing this and just praying I don't hit the wrong one when I'm jamming away because there's a young family at the side of me. You couldn't see me without a shot on one of them. And the little girl was dancing. It was very close. And I was getting close to, and I knew that Rave Dave was going to come in with some pretty foul language, so it sort of helped the jamming away because it was a complete on the fly, just work around this sort of track. So it was completely different, but I managed not to get him to shout out. But yeah, so that was the sort of So it wasn't just Waves in the Park; it was adrenaline rush. Don't hit him out. Don't let him don't play.
Awesome. We'll definitely pick your brains a bit later when we get a chance to, Daren, because I'm sure people would love to hear the technical side of your wave in the park or whatever it's called. Yeah, awesome. All right, heading over to Chris. Chris, how's your week been, buddy?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Started off a bit unwell though during the first part of the week, so that wasn't much fun. But came good during the week, so it was good. Got my first sale of a module this week, so that's good.
Yay!
Yay! Finished the manual day before yesterday. Finished the manual yesterday, and that's now up. And I have to apologise for not telling you, Rants, because I realise you're the only person I didn't tell who's put the manual up, that I put the final manual up for the module. But it is up now. I'll send you a link later in the show.
Oh, you told me it was up, but then you told me it wasn't.
Did
up.
I? Oh no. There was a diagram inside the manual which I thought I'd finished and then found that I'd completely got it wrong.
Fair
Start
enough.
again.
No big deal, mate.
As you do. Yeah. No worries. I'll let you know in a sec. Apart from that, just answering a few people's questions about the module, keeping all my ducks in a row, make sure the site's running, all that kind of good stuff, and I've had a little bit of time to do more music for Rancee's remix, so that's good, because I didn't want to drop that one completely, but a lot of time pressure's on at the moment, so I can only spend a little bit of time, but I like to try and have at least the weekend now for doing music. I can put my head down and my bum up during the week doing business, but weekends for me. Hence why I'm here. Over
Fantastic. Oh, done well, mate. Done well. Awesome. Darren, the 4 squares reminds us of the early days, mate, where we just had the 4 squares.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
It's good. I like the 4
early
squares.
days.
Yeah. It's nice. Nice and boutique. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's disband everyone else from coming back.
Cozy. It's too cozy now. It's like the fireside chat or the log cabin chat version of the show.
Yeah. Well, we need like a crackling fire in the background picture.
Yeah. We need one of those virtual fireplaces.
Yeah.
Could do that. I've got a
now
stream.
It's becoming winter for us, but summer for you.
I've got a stream, but it doesn't have anything to do with fires. But anyway, why don't we do Synth Quiz? Should we do that, guys?
Hit it.
Wow. I am not doing the Synth Quiz again this week because this segment is getting extremely popular. So we've got another quiz master this week. And, I have to say, if you guys don't get this, I say the same thing every week, but if you guys don't get this after the first clue, I'm going to be like face palming all the way through the show. I really think this should be easy for you guys. All right, here we go. First clue. Bang. Okay, I fixed the font too, I believe. I believe I fixed the font.
Yeah, it's not cut off. I think you got it right there, right?
So we'll see how we go. So there's your first clue. If you need me to read it out to you, it says break, and then a space, and then a P, and a dot. It's about the best I can do. I'm not going to tell you what that is about because that will kind of give way too much. But you guys should be able to get that just from that. Anyway, enough about my big ugly mug. We are going to get stuck into the regular segments because we need to get moving. Lots to do in the show. Let's do funny side. Wow. Okay, we've got to fix up the little thing down the back there, but we can do that. Give me a second. All right, so the first one is if you're ordering a Centaur part, you're all happy because they're really cheap, but then you add the postage, the shipping on it, and nobody's happy about the shipping, especially us Australians. We don't like shipping. Let me just fix the chatties can go on the bottom. There we go. Look at that. We've got 4 people. Chatties can react to the funny side this week. Here we go. We've got a few, actually. A few memes. Next one is, this is actually a real comment on the stream that we did about the MPC Live. And apparently, the MPC Live 3 is not a synth. Change my mind or fight me or whatever you want to do. Lots of people will have different opinions about that. It's not a synth, apparently, according to that guy anyway. Actually, I checked out his channel. Has a total of 0 videos. Doing well. Right, next.
Classy.
We've got this meme back. I think this one's done some rounds in Discord, but we took a few favourites out. Patrick is the guy on the right, by the way. Is that a snake in the grass or a lead? Bob says, run. That's the first one.
Don't worry, it's not poisonous.
No. that might have a little bit of adults only humor going on there as well. Keep moving. This one's from JX3D. Where is the dog now, Bob? Yuli always runs away, Patrick. So those two are kind of related, and we'll just keep moving on. By the way, if you head on out to our Discord channel, which the link is there, do check out the Discord channel. There's a stack more of those Bob and Patrick memes in there, and they are hilarious. So there was, I don't know, probably about 10 in there. I think Henrik was getting bored this week at work. Right. Next is our DAW matrix. Pick your favorite DAW. FL Studio and compression was the most interesting, I thought. There's that one. What else we got? We also have this one. The wife is saying to the husband, when you are done, I need to talk to you about this synth you bought. 3 weeks later.
Yeah, that's me mowing the lawn this week, probably.
Dearie me. Yeah, it was actually probably a little bit of me this week as well. You'll find out why soon. Right. Shall we release the poll into the YouTube chat? Yes, YouTubers get the poll. Sorry for all the other platforms, but it only works in YouTube because it's the software. Blame the software. I didn't write the software. Anyway, poll is ! Vote, all one word, no spaces, then a space, and then your number that and they are in order this week. I've made sure of it. Corresponding to your favorite meme. 0 is for the Centaur shipping. 1 is for not a synth. 2 is for Bob Snake. 3 is for Bob Yuli. 4 is for DAW. 5 is for the Water Wife. Interesting. Here we go. Look at it all. Look at it all populating in my little poll here right now. I can tell you that people have voted in 4 memes so far out of the 6. We definitely have a leader, though. You can see it in the YouTube chat what the leader is. We definitely have a leader. If you don't want that one to win, get your votes in, guys.
Yes,
give it a couple of seconds.
In, guys.
Yeah, give it a couple of seconds.
But if you do want that one to win, get your votes in.
Yeah. Darren likes that one, I think. Because that's the actual one that he voted for. Oh, we got a second runner. Maybe
that's because you told him I voted for it. That's why.
I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote this week. Stuff you all. I'm gonna vote for that one. It's not gonna. Oh, it's not letting me. Oh no, it is letting me vote. There you go. So it takes bribes.
Exactly.
Oh,
it takes feedback,
guys. We literally have. It's almost a tie. If one more person votes for one of these, it'll be a tie, and you guys won't unless you sit there and counting all the numbers on your screen, which you could probably do. There's not that many there. You could work it out. One more vote, and it will be a tie. Otherwise, I'm going to count to 10 in my head, and we will end the poll, and we have a winner if no one votes. In about 5 seconds to go.
It may have been a unsuccessful vote.
Oh. DAW just sneaks in. Yes. Darren, you got a win this week, buddy.
Yes, but it's all right because if it hadn't have won, I would have claimed. I'd have made a claim there because it was going well until you told anyone that I'd actually voted for it, and then it suddenly changed.
Vote rigging again. I don't know.
Darren, it's like when you're at school, and you know how the PE teacher gets everyone to have captains for the 2 teams, and you're getting picked last, aren't you, mate? That's what happens.
That's right.
I'm not even getting picked.
Usually the one left over, and you just walk over to the one that's obviously meant to have you in it. They don't even mention you. You know, it's like
they're walking off and you're walking behind. It's all right. We'll carry on with one less.
All right. So if you guys want to know what meme won, it's that one. There you go. Happy now?
I'd probably date Logic Pro, by the way.
Wow, that's a pretty bad call.
I thought you were going to say about Fruity Loops.
He likes to date Fruity Loop girls. Right. We are going downhill very, very quick. Let's go to the next segment.
Not on the compression though.
World's longest stinger. Here we go. It is time for music tech news, and yes, I do have to fix this up. Don't worry, I'll fix it up every time. Because each week it changes, and that's no big deal. It's really no big deal, honestly, guys. Daren can go there. Yeah, I know. I saw. Yeah.
Dear.
Yeah. It's a bit sad. Right. Obviously, we're going to talk about this. The Yamaha MODX M, which came out during the week and probably surprised a few people that aren't sort of in the Yamaha loop. I definitely think it surprised a few people. But at the same time, a few other people probably thought to themselves, this is kind of the same thing a bit, isn't it? That's kind of just me summarizing social media. It doesn't necessarily mean it's my view. In fact, actually, if you want to know what my view is, a few people have told me, Ranz, what's your view? Well, my view is this is a freaking cracker of a synth. That's what my view is, and you're going to find out why in a sec. But why don't we play the little intro, and we'll see what happens on the other side. Well, there we go. What a great little intro that was. Well done to Yamaha. They actually did go through pretty much all the summary of what the synth is going to offer us. But just in case you didn't watch it and you were like getting yourself a coffee or you were scratching a body part, I am going to tell you. Basically, there's three versions of this that you can buy. There's the 6, the 7, and the 8. The difference is the amount of keys, but with the notable difference is the 8 has the GHS hammer action keyboard, which the other two do not. And a lot of people do say that it's actually quite a nice keyboard. So for those who kind of want a little bit more of a professional feel, that's probably the one to go for. But the big thing, I guess, is there's the new ANX engine, and it's the 12-voice. Daren, you'll like this. Yamaha have got a synth now, which has got an A1X in it, and it's 12-voice polyphonic. It actually has an improved engine to what your original one has. Obviously, they've fixed all the aliasing and that sort of stuff that it's got.
Oh, well, it's not the same then.
Yeah, it's not the same. You need aliasing, don't you? You need those steppy filters. But it does have 3 oscillators like yours did, and it's got that vintage sort of style analog what do you call it? Virtual analog thing. It's also got wave shaping and wave folding and ring mods and FM and a whole bunch of stuff. That's just in the ANX, by the way. Then on top of that, you've got this new FMX engine, which is the advanced FM synthesis engine and enhanced modulation capabilities. That's also in here. They do talk about that in depth in one of the other videos. If you do want to find out more, head on over to Yamaha. YamahaSynth.com is their website. AWM2, which is their it's kind of like the Roland, PCM system, but Yamaha's take on it. That's also been improved. They've got a 128 voice sample-based engine with 5 gigs of wave memory and 1.9 gigs for user samples. Now, that is pretty cool. I'll tell you what the difference between this and the previous MODX is in a sec when we do our little comparison section. Obviously, they talked about in the video, there's a whole bunch of new enhanced control stuff on the interface. If you didn't see what that was, a quick sort of overview of that is you get additional faders, which you probably noticed on the left-hand side, where that big blue button is sort of across to the left and down a bit. That's where your faders are. You're getting an upgraded super knob, which is that big glowy blue knob you saw, and dedicated buttons for parts and scenes, which is a new part as well. They've got a USB-C audio interface on this, which is 4 in, 10 out, which is amazing, and it does support MIDI 2.0. There you go. Cool. Expanded soft synth plugin, which is called the ESP system. There was a little screenshot during the video, which you probably might have seen that as well. Oh, yeah, I can show you another one of those in a sec. Let's just do a quick comparison to the MODX series, so the previous series, the MODX. So this, don't forget, this is the MODX M series. So the previous series was just the MODX. So, for example, the MODX did not have the ANX synth system. That's a massive sort of difference there. And also with the AWM2, it only had 2 gigs wave and slightly less on the user 1.6 gigs. So it's a big, almost more than double on that. With the FM, there's the FMX with the old one, it has the standard FMX. This has got the new advanced modulation capabilities in the algorithm. So that's a new thing. Obviously, the new faders and knobs that I mentioned before, and MIDI 2.0 and a 4 in, 10 out USB audio interface on there, and the ESP plugin. So there are quite a lot of differences. You're looking at MSRP price, I should say, $17.99 US for the M6, $19.99 for the M7, and $24.99 for the M8, or as I call it, mate. Yeah, guys, thoughts? While I get the little screenshot of the ESP for you guys again.
Well, it's a great update. I mean, I'm not into the. It's like a workstation, top of the range synthesizer.
Not
so
top,
I mean,
but,
this is. I've never. Well, so not the top, but you're high up. It's sort of
High
like
up, yeah.
somewhere I've never really been in. I've not really been into the, because the Rolands, the Yamaha, the 2 main ones, I would say. But yeah, it's great expansion on it. So if you're into these sims, if it's for gigging and stuff, it'll be a great update. I mean, and like I say, we're having the added extra, well, the N1X engine, and just beefing that up. I mean, it's a great synth anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's just a great update, I think. Not overly priced neither. It's not ridiculous.
Yeah, good price.
Yeah, it's a good price.
About $27.99 for us, Chris.
Yeah,
for the M6
that's
model.
right.
Yeah. That's the screenshot, by the way, guys, next to us for the ESP, the expanded soft synth plugin. There's a massive amount of stuff in that, apparently. So the actual screen on the MODX is actually pretty big, so you get quite a bit in that. But then on top of that, the USB connectivity with this is actually huge.
Well, as you said, it's got a lot of I/O and good integration, good modern technology stuff. I think it's a good update as well. And the AN1X is a welcome addition. And I know I've heard a lot of pretty cool music made with these kind of systems, so don't sneeze at any of this kind of stuff. It's very cool. Just not my bag, but
yeah, it's. Oh, I thought it was muted. Yeah, it's one of those because it's like such a great thing, but it's like somewhere I've never actually stepped into. The sort of big multi workstation-y type keyboard thing is something I've never really really visited. So it's sort of, I mean, if anyone's, I don't know what the upgrade. So if you're on the slightly older MODX, would you want to upgrade to this or not? I couldn't say that, but sounding what they've done to it and the you know, the expansions and the extras they put in, I can see, yeah, quite a few people who love the old or the older versions would like this. It's definitely a worthwhile update, I would think. But not speaking from an experienced older Yamaha MODX, so I can't really say. But yeah, same with the Roland, isn't it? I mean, I think it's them two seem to be the main ones. Roland and the Yamaha seem to be the main two. I mean, all these others, but they seem to be the main two.
Yeah. The Roland competitor in this price range is the Phantom O, which is a really decent synth as well. So the Phantom O, both these companies, they're supporting all their historical, you know, hits. So in Yamaha, you've got the FM, you've got the DX7 stuff, and you've got the AN1X and the AWM2. So they're supporting all their hits. And then Roland is supporting all their hits with all their old analog synths like the Jupiter Sound and 808s and, you know, sampling engines and things like that. So both are definitely decent products in the market. Price-wise, I think the Yamaha might be slightly cheaper.
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
They're like multi-history synths, aren't they? But for the modern day, obviously.
Yeah. It's like an all-in-one, isn't it? Let's give you a bunch of a taste of all the things that we've done well over the years and try and sort of package it in a fairly decent package with a fairly decent amount of editing capabilities so that you can go deep. It's not a montage, you know, it's not their flagship, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I will say, just as a caveat too, guys, I haven't watched any synth show this week. I've been too busy with other stuff in my life. So I do apologize if we're covering some territory that there's other shows have already covered, but hopefully you guys are interested in our opinions anyway. So, you know, I know there's some other people that are very big Yamaha people and they do like to talk a lot, sing the praises of Yamaha. I'm a very big Yamaha person. I've got two Yamaha synths that I've had for years. I've got a DX7 2, I should say, not DX7. And I've got a CS1X up there. DX7's in the corner over there. Yeah. And
well, I mean, this is also another good update because Yamaha, out of a lot of the companies, are not one that seem to be releasing much of the lower end. I say lower end stuff, but the individual style synths lower down the range. They just seem to be the high end, this sort of range and up, and they don't seem to release as much as the other competitors, or haven't been doing.
Yeah, they don't really have their little boutiques or their little small ones, or just got the Seek track. That's pretty much all they've got in that space. So they're definitely concentrating at a slightly higher.
Yeah. Yeah, the reface were a while ago now, so that's kind of...
Yeah, we need some new refaces, guys. Come on, Yamaha,
yeah.
give us a new reface.
Yamaha did hint that they were thinking about doing a revamp of a CS80. I don't know how far it ever got. So that was probably a while ago. And then they set up some website, a forum. We all joined it, and it kind of just fizzled, didn't it? Yeah.
Don't know about that.
For me, there's one kind of big gotcha with this, and this is not a stab at Yamaha at all. This is actually a stab at anyone who does this as a manufacturer today and in in the past we've all been burnt by this, and that is if you've got a piece of software that helps you edit your synth, they are going to end up being legacy software down the track because operating systems update. They will stop developing the software for this in some stage in the future. And I've got a Korg M3, for example, that I can't, unless I use an old virtual machine with Windows XP on it, I can't actually use the Korg editor anymore for that on a modern machine. I feel like at the moment today, this is great. It's going to work on everything. It's going to work on your Mac. It's going to work on your PC. You're going to love it. But in the future, if the synth will last, Yamaha stuff definitely lasts. They build it really well, but the software won't. And that kind of is the thing that worries me about this stuff. Yeah. If you're really good at IT, you could sandbox a computer in a virtual environment. If you really want to go there, it's a lot of effort, isn't it? I mean, have you guys ever done that? It's not something that you can do in 5 minutes.
Nah, I'm crap with virtual machines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I fall at the first hurdle. I can't be bothered trying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stops working. It stops working. Break out the SysX manual.
What are the chatties saying? We should probably have a quick look. I think it's this button here. Now, I picked up a couple of things.
Yak about it.
Yeah, they're having a good yak. I think Manny was saying something about the ESP software. He was saying, what I find odd is the ESP plug will actually be different. Why they'd spend dev money for a second one doesn't make sense. So he's referring to the ESP plug that was on the original MODX, right? And they're saying that this is a different one. Yeah. Maybe Manny, it's purely a marketing / financial reason. So they're dropping that. Maybe it's a vaporware type situation, which is disappointing. I kind of feel like the MODX is not that old, really. When you talk about the history of synths, it's not that I can remember when we announced it on this show. So it's within the last 6 years. It shows 6 years old. Yeah. Guys, are you happy with the UI? Is it a nice UI, or do you think it's a little busy? What do you guys think?
I was going to raise the question. The color coding on this thing doesn't exactly do it any favors on readability. Just for me, am not familiar with it, the first thing I looked at it and went and said, too many colors in random places.
Well, it's very Yamaha. Yamaha have done that.
It is. I think if you've already used one of these and you know the colours that they use, it may be okay.
That's the thing. I assume there'd be some familiarity. Yeah. I assumed it was just me.
Well, we're hoping it will. I'm hoping they carry that over so that
Yeah, and the other thing I feel confused about is I think one of the videos or on one of their press releases, they do talk about the heritage of this synth is from the Montage synth, which is their flagship, but we all know that the Montage is kind of getting quite old, so obviously with the ANX and Montage has had updates and stuff, no doubt, but they don't want to trip over the Montage sales because you can still buy them, and they keep releasing sort of these semi professional workstations. Daren, I mean you've got an old workstation behind you. You've got a Roland XP50.
I've got XP50. Yeah.
So you've got skin in the game.
Well, that was me. Well, as you say that, it was when I bought that. I didn't really know what the heck I was buying as such, apart from it had great sounds and I could expand it. I wasn't really getting it for the actual fact that you can, it's like a sequencer on board and things like that. It was basically just all the sounds and it had a disk drive that you could save stuff on and stuff like that. So it wasn't sort of bought in that way. But yeah, I have got a workstation, an old workstation. But compared to these, it's this is like, well, it's like a door in a keyboard virtually. As they get to now.
You don't even need
everything's blending together now. You've got it separated at one point when you had the workstations disappearing because you could do it in a door on the computer, and now it's going back into some of these where the door is going into the keyboard.
Well, now you've got. I mean, these things are basically computers inside, aren't they?
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yamaha will have their own custom chip, of course, being Yamaha. But sometimes, some manufacturers don't hide what they use. I think Korg had a Raspberry Pi and one of their synths, I forget which one it was now. I think it was those OP6s or whatever they were. There was a series of them that they brought out. Yeah, so...
The XD does, I think.
Yeah.
No, the XD doesn't, sorry. The XD doesn't. It's the one that doesn't.
Well...
Yeah, sorry.
My
it's the OP6 and the original mini log, I think. Is Raspberry Pis? No, it's fully analog.
I mean, a lot of the stuff these days are made with like mobile phone type technology. So because we all know that mobile phones have become very powerful over the years, and they run on really long battery life. They run cool. They don't need heat. Lots of extensive heating, cooling stuff problems. Things like that. So ARM processors are probably the way to go. So I think, that's probably where the dev is being poured into with these things, is the ARM stuff. So yeah, in fact, there you go. So Wagoo even mentions it in chat. Cool. Pretty sure he says it's an ARM. Right. Any more comments about this, or should we move on to the next? You might regret saying move on to the next, by the way.
Don't move on to the next then.
Exactly. Skip it.
Well,
go to the one after that.
You might rejoice. Well, you might regret that too, Daren. Anyway, let's see. You ready? Here we go.
That's okay.
This one's not too bad.
Okay.
It is.
So this is Behringer's Casio CZ1 Mini. This is their little take on the Casio CZ series, which, if you guys know, the show topic is about phase distortion. This is a phase distortion using the Casio digital technology, and this is in a little package, a little minute little package anyway. Like a Volca, we'll call it, the Behringer Volca series. There's plenty of them. What do we got here? We've got it's USB powered.
That's a good sigh.
Right, Daren, you'll like that. It's USB-C powered. It's a hybrid phase distortion engine. It's got the 8 classic waveforms, which you can see in the table next to the logo: square, saw, pulse, double sine, saw, pulse, and I think there's the 3 resonant shapes. You've got 3-voice polyphony. Now, be careful with that 3-voice polyphony as well, because it's paraphony would be more technical. But on this, you've got an analog 24 dB low pass filter, which is kind of nice. So you can see the analog filter actually just to the right under the volume knob. You'll see it sort of under the column, sort of that section there in the middle. You've got a 16-step sequencer. You've got an 8-stage envelope generator. You've got 27 capacitive touch keys, which are those Volca-like keys down the bottom. Not much use for anyone. I think plug a USB keyboard into it, and that's where you're going to go better. Notice the MIDI DIN in is pretty nice. Nice little touch there.
Yeah, it's nice. Tiny
little OLED display. So, Daren, magnifying glass for you. That is actually minuscule, that display. Really small.
Yeah. It is. Well, it's the same. It's the same as the Pro V, isn't it?
Yeah,
basically that shaft has been used for everything, basically.
Yeah, it's about the same, mate.
So, I have a sort of love-hate thing with these, actually, because this Pro V is a great little thing for sounds. I mean, I'd never use it as it is. I like using it as sounds. And obviously, they're bringing out more and more of these in different versions. And I sort of go, yeah, I like it because you get the sounds, or sort of the sounds, from those synths in a small package and dead cheap. And then on the other way, I go, I really don't like them because they just, I probably take that keyboard bit off and then have a nice rack of them might be quite interesting without the keyboard. Yeah. But they're cheap. I mean, let's face it. I think this will probably be less than 130 quid. So
89.
You're getting sound for that.
$89.
Exactly.
About £76. This will be probably when it without VAT, Darren, but when it hits you. By the way, just so you know too, if you are really interested in Casio CZ or CZ series synths, this little baby enables you to actually import via SysX all of the Casio patches, which is actually pretty cool.
See, this is what I mean. They're great. I don't like it. I like them and I don't like them. So they're great for like things like that. I mean, and they don't take up any space, especially when you've got a little studio. Like for me, if you're just using it for getting sounds and creating the sounds out of those yesteryear synths that you can't really afford, probably can't get hold of, it's decent. You can't argue for less than 100 quid.
That's the thing.
Let's have a little listen to it. There is a video. I don't know if I'm going to get a copyright claim because they actually do the Airwolf theme at the end. Hopefully it's not at the start. Anyway, we'll try.
No.
Phase distortion. It's not the type of synthesis you often see in today's synth world, and that's a shame, because back in the mid-80s, these things were all the rage, from its early synth releases right through to the glorious evolution of the CZ1. But fear not, because we've taken all those best parts and we've shrunken it down into our ever-growing mini-series, introducing the CZ1 Mini.
All right, so we'll stop it there because I don't think we need to hear the rest. But we are going to get into phase distortion later in the show, so we will talk about the idiosyncrasies of PD versus PM as an alternative, or FM if people want to say that. So one of the things you'll notice with the Casio sounds is they do actually sound quite analog with the way the resonant characteristics works with those oscillators. So it's interesting that in this particular concept anyway, they've adopted the idea of putting an analog filter into this, because you can actually do that with the way the phase distortion waveforms work. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. So don't know how that's going to work. Probably it just gives you two options, I guess. It's not a bad thing, but yeah. Anyway,
that panel space left.
Circuit board space. What can we do to make this exciting? Let's do mode
familiar at least. Yeah.
But yeah, if you've never had anything Casio or phase distortion, it's great, isn't it? Sort of, there you are, you're getting a taste of it. And like I said, I mean, even though I don't like them, you can sort of see yourself buying a few of these different ones, trying to put them into small. It'd be quite interesting. Yeah. Go on, Chris.
I haven't bought one of these yet. These small mini synths from Behringer. This might be the first one.
Okay.
Because I don't have any experience with CZ, and I've always been curious about it.
Well, you're looking to buy a second-hand or used Casio.
That's what I am, Chris.
You are looking at quite a lot of spend. So this, in comparison, will get you in as a hardware option. This will get you in
just
really
almost
cheap.
Purely from from a self-education point of view. It's worth it. It's just sounds like a good idea.
One of the things you'll notice, Chris, is it's got this terminology like DCO, and then you've got DCW.
Yes. And
then DCA. So the terminology of DCW and all that sort of stuff, we're going to get into that a bit later. Cool. So I know you probably know what it means, Chris, but for those other people out there,
I'm just guessing, but yeah,
they'll probably want to know, how does this thing work? And it kind of is pretty cool how these work. I'm going to put my hand up and say I'm not an expert on phase distortion because, like I said before, I don't own one personally. I've just been sort of exposed to it over the many years that I've been exposed to synthesizers. And Casio, I think we talked about this before, didn't we, Chris? They never really sold big in Australia as synths. They sold calculators, but you never saw their synths here, apart from the little portable thing, the VL. Is it the VL1? Yeah, it was the VL1, wasn't it? The little white portable Casio calculator.
The white one with
synth.
the speaker in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Saw a lot of those around.
That was about the only one I ever saw here in Australia. But then again, I wasn't really looking. It's not like Casio were... Whoever did marketing for Casio in Australia, they failed. So, by the way, if you worked in the 80s for Casio, you failed. But over in the US, they were huge. The Casio CZ series especially. They sold massive amounts over there. And in Japan, of course. Yeah. Daren, what about you? Did you see much Casio stuff in the 80s for yourself?
Well, there was Casio about. Quite a lot of it was the stuff you get out of the catalogue, though. Like the sort of romply type sort of.
Those weird romply things.
Two speaker either sides, learn piano, etc. Synthesizer.
Yeah.
We had a lot of them about, but the sort of these type of the CZs and things like that, they were about, but I must admit, you didn't see them. There wasn't as big as in America, like you say. Probably better than Australia, probably more than Australia, but not as big as America.
Mm. Yeah. Well,
by the way, the little screen on this is obviously it's the same as that the VS I've got. It is very small, but it is actually very clear as well. It is very clear.
It's OLED.
They're usually quite sharp. OLEDs are quite sharp.
OLEDs are pretty good.
It's sharp. It's definitely viewable. So,
I mean, OLED is a specific technology that does address clarity. So that when they invented OLED technology, that's the exact purpose of it. So you get sharper looking characters on a screen with a brighter sort of anti-aliasing, anti-ghosting type sort of display. That's basically what OLED's all about. Generally speaking, it's pretty cheap to manufacture as well now, the OLED displays, especially those little ones like that.
Yeah.
Right.
They could have made it double the size.
Well, they definitely had panel room for it, that's for sure. Especially on this one.
It's the same on the VS. I mean, they might say cost, but I can't see that. They definitely could make it at least double the size.
Yeah. Maybe the electronics underneath doesn't allow it.
For it.
Yeah. By the way, so people in chat are talking about what do they think this is using underneath. I would almost guarantee it would be some sort of ARM processor.
I'd agree.
It would be like I don't know, Cortex or something. Some sort of Cortex flavor, because Behringer tend to like the Cortex stuff.
Okay.
But it may not be. So, for example, in the MS1 or MS101, they used ARM Cortex M7s in that, and that handles all the digital logic stuff like the sequencers and arpeggiators and things like that. None of the analog stuff, of course, but in this case, they've got a lot more digital duties to do. So maybe a little bit more powerful Cortex flavor, or maybe an even newer version of the ARM mobile processor.
They're still doing. This one does have recordable cutoff and resonance. I think I don't know about resonance, but the cutoff is definitely you can motion record. So and they're obviously doing some CV stuff with their processor to do that. So it's not all 100% digital.
Yeah, well, it has to have some sort of DA.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit of that.
Interesting. Well, let's go to the next, because the next Mini that they released in the same week is actually analog, and I kind of feel like they're diametric in that sense. But this one is the UBXa Mini. This obviously is the Oberheim flavored sort of synthy voice analog thing. Does definitely have an Oberheim look to it as well. Which some people may get annoyed with that, I think. Anyway, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is another 3-voice. This one's a VCO, an actual analog VCO modeled after the original Oberheim oscillators, but this will be paraphonic again. I feel you guys need to just make that distinction about polyphonic versus para. It's kind of like the original Korg Volca keys. It's in that sort of in that framework. Anyway, I don't know how well this will sound like an Oberheim, but they're saying it's modelled after it. They're saying it's got the authentic recreations of the VCOs. They've used the same circuits in their Oberheim, their bigger Oberheim clone that they made earlier. So that's gone into here. It's got authentic VCO and VCF circuitry in here, which is another one of their claims. So we'll see what happens there. But you'd still get that Volca-ish stuff like the previous one we just saw with the CZ or CZ, with the motion recording and the step sequencer and the capacitive touch key. So all that digital implementation down the bottom is in this as well. Dual slope low pass filter, which is nice to see. It's something that I like about this. And so that means you can switch between 12 or 24 dB. So sometimes you may want that harsher sort of resonance bite and using the 12 dB filter. Sometimes you might want it a bit creamier with your 24 dB, more of a ladder sort of style. It's not a ladder style, but it's more that sort of heading towards that sort of mode tone. This does have ring mod on it as well, and PWM. It's got a detune thing on there, which is pretty cool. So you can have a unison waveform and detune, which makes some nice beefy sounding mono detuned sort of unison sounds. There is fifths and ring and all that sort of stuff. So it's very Volca keys in that sense. Very Volca keys. USB-C powered again, and $99 US is the price of this one. So you're looking at that's the street price. MSRP they're saying is $109, but $99 will probably be what it will come out as. Australians will be able to get it for about $169, I think, $159, $169 when it hits the shores. That's really cheap for us. If you just want a little fun thing to get an Oberheim sound out of it, I feel this is pretty cool. Definitely a downside better than spending $6,000 on a flagship Oberheim synth. If you're just after a couple
remember, it is USB powered, so if you're going to start putting these into like some sort of live thing or in a mixer, you're going to get some noise.
Yeah.
Unless you use a separate.
Daren, do they have batteries on the back of these things or no? No batteries?
No batteries.
No.
Nope.
All right.
So it's pure USB
power bank if you could use. But
do you guys want me to? Do you guys want me to show you the video? It's pretty cheesy.
If it's cheesy, then definitely.
I couldn't tell whether the video is cheesy or whether the synth is.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of cheese in this. Okay, let's just go here.
Hello, today I would like to introduce you to the Behringer UBXa Mini.
I think that'll do. God help us. Anyway, that demonstration was drowned in effects, brought to you by TC Electronics and Clark Technics. Anyway, you're not hearing much of the UBXa. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice it is in there somewhere.
Pity about it, can't hear the synth. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's on those little stands that are wobbling around and you've got to try and move that very, very tiny little knobs. It's like, yeah.
Yes.
Well, look, I think
use case is it?
I think you're at the synth shop maybe 12 months down the track, and you're going to see one of these on the shelf, and you got a spare bit of coin in your pocket. You'll probably buy one just for shits and gigs. It's one of those sort of products. I think you'll probably go, look, yeah, all right, I'll take one home. You know, it's that price point, isn't it, guys? I mean, what is it? Yeah. $99 US. It's that price point.
I've heard it called a stocking filler.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's like, well, I bought mine. I've anything like, from the Pro V. So it's like, I just get a sort of a taste of that sound that you can have in a hardware box, and it's not expensive. Put it in your stocking, great. And then it probably gets put on one side like mine is for a while, as you sort of forget all about it.
Yeah. I feel like though, at least with yours, Daren, it's kind of it's a different take on the Pro VS, and I feel like the one we showed before, the CZ or CZ, is something that's a bit harder to get. Whereas I don't know, I'm kind of getting a little bit annoyed with all this analog recreation. I feel like some people are loving it, right? But I'm kind of getting a bit annoyed with it.
Yes, starting to wear a bit thin, is it, Rans?
Yeah.
Or thick.
Well, you're going to get to the point
to wear a bit fat.
You're honestly going to get to the point where you'll have an analog synth, and they're all going to kind of sound similar, but you're going to go, but that's an Oberheim, or that's got an Oberheim flavor to it. Can't you tell? But you've just bathed it in reverb and delay. I can't tell anything. You know, that's the kind of thing that you got to really be true to yourself when you enter down this pathway of going, oh, that's a profit sound, and you know you've got to really be careful.
That's why that's more of a Sonority that we're getting into that sort of thing. So we'll carry on.
Yeah.
Yes. Good point.
Thanks for stopping me, Daren. You did well.
Discuss.
Yeah, well, I was going to go down the same path and explaining about analog, but I thought no, because we're getting into Saturday Sonority there, so we might as well just carry on with the news. Yes,
we do. Actually, we should go to the next, because the next I think you guys are going to love, and that is another Akai controller comes out, and that is the Akai MPK Mini IV. We're up to version 4 now on the marks, and I don't know if you've ever owned an MPK. I've got an MPK. Never have owned a mini MPK though. But yeah, these things are pretty cool, and they're getting cooler in the sense that they are giving you more than the older sort of. If you sort of cast your mind back to a little mini controller like this 10 years ago, Daren, you probably would have just got the plastic controller, and all it did was just connect up to your DAW and didn't really do anything. You may have got a little bit of bundled software with it.
You're quite right. I did get an MPK ages ago. Like we said, going back in time. Holy.
Yeah, you got the bigger one. Yeah, that's the 49.
Yeah, but it weighs a ton. It's proper solid and big.
And they've got nice keyboard on them too. They've got a nice keyboard on them too.
Yeah, I like the keyboard on it. It's a great keyboard. I like it.
Yeah.
And I don't play stuff, so.
Anyway, this thing is really just an entry-level thing. But the people that would buy this are probably going to get it because it's not going to take up much of your desk space. It's got a bunch of bundled software, and the bundled software is probably what people will be sort of biting into. That makes this thing a bit more interesting. Right. All right. So there is a video coming up. I'll show you in a sec. But what you've got is the 4th generation. It's a 25 key if you haven't counted the keys yet. They're tiny little mini keys on this thing, by the way.
Like the boutiques.
You do get a full coloured screen on this. You got mechanical pitch and modulation wheels, improved keypad. They reckon it's better than the previous one. They always say that. Upgraded pads. Now, they say in one of the videos that the pads are MPC pads. I don't think they're the latest MPC 3 pads, though, guys. I think they're probably more like MPC 1000 pads. Anyway, that's fine. USB-C, 5-pin MIDI DIN out. And the controller also comes with a bundled comprehensive suite of, as I mentioned before, of software, which does include software instruments and DAW integration tools. So, for example, there is transport and DAW controls for Ableton Live, Logic, Pro, FL Studio, Cubase, and Bitwig is included in that. What is the other thing I wanted to mention? There is a studio instrument collection with over 1,000 presets that are made by Air, which is basically an Akai company. There's some Moog stuff in here. I think it's actually on the video. And Akai have got their own Akai branded stuff as well. And yeah, some people will like some of the features, like, for example, it does have 8 assignable 360-degree rotary knobs. It does have, like I mentioned before, the full color display. The RGBs are, sorry, the pads are backlit RGB, so they can be assigned to completely different colors if you want to. And what's the other thing I wanted to mention about this? There's a scale mode and a chord mode, which should be on in a MIDI controller these days. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the video. They're probably going to say exactly what I just said, but better than I can, because it's Akai. You probably will not get this yourselves, but someone who is interested in early
Supercharged
market,
arpeggiator, what's that?
yeah, it's an arpeggiator with some editing
I thought it was
features.
something
Supercharged.
It's just got it's just got a bunch of patterns on it. $99,
Goes up
Darren.
Oh, great for my live rig.
$99 for you, Darren. For everyone else, cheaper. No, $99, and you do get all that bundled software with it as well. So that's probably what people will go for.
This is where it is. I mean, the bundled software is probably more than the actual keyboard that you're buying anyway. And I think that's what a lot of people. I think I bought the Novation mini keys. I can't remember if it's 3, and the software on it was what I wanted more than the actual keyboard itself.
Exactly.
Because I think that just got put in a cupboard and never used.
Yeah, and you're still using the software.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Chris, I know this. For me, I kind of did think about you a little bit because I know you're short for space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, sometimes these little keyboards with pads all sort of compacted up is actually quite useful if you're not like a key player and you need aftertouch and the mechanical, you know, all that sort of rubbish. You might just want the fact that you can just play notes and hit some pads.
I quite like it. I like that it's modern looking, so that did attract me to it. But and the pads are good. But yeah, I'm kind of now over the little mini keys things. I've actually kind of gone off. I don't want to get any more, if you know what I mean. I've actually chopped off a lot of them. You know, I had them on boutiques, and I've tossed the keyboards out and just made them boutiques again. Kind of like what everyone else
Just the
was
modules,
doing,
yeah.
Yeah, for a while I was really into this. Kind of,
These mini
keyboards.
keyboards, they want to have they want to have like more features on them for the actual MIDI control. You know, like you say, the chords and the scale function and really cool arpeggiator function and things like that. They don't seem to have all that together. It's just like they'll just whack in one of these little, like a great arpeggiator, but leave all the other stuff out. That's what you want, really. So for a live set, I just want nice keyboard with lots of little features on it. It doesn't have to be, you know, all helpful features, should I say.
Yeah.
Especially for us numpties who can't play keys.
Oh, that's definitely me.
That's the problem as well. You start getting used to the size of the keys, and I'm now starting to get used to the size of the mini freak keys, which is in between size, full size, and mini key, and it's difficult to go back to the little ones again. So
you won't mind if the little ones were really, really nice key beds. Really, you know, you'd pay the extra for that lovely key bed, but they're always like really. They always feel, or at least the ones I've had, they always feel mini keys and a bit. Just enough to
the
press
lack of
and get a
travel.
note from it.
Yeah, that kind of gets you. So yeah, it's better trouble. But at least these ones aren't as flat as some of the older versions.
Oh yeah,
probably a little bit better though. Yeah, and I'll be interested to see. I'll be keeping an eye out on if there's any new just not complete pad surface versions of these. They're probably coming out with them next, I would imagine. I'll have my eye on those.
Well, they got the MPC Touch range, which is the non-standalone. You know, plug it up. That
But has that been recently updated? Or
yeah. There's a newer.
Okay.
There's a new Touch, probably in the last year or two.
We've probably covered it, and I just
Probably covered it. Yeah. Or maybe we just ignored it. I'm not sure. Anyway, MIDI controllers coming out of the Gazuba. It's a very competitive market. What I guess is attractive to this is the compact design, the amount of different options you've got. You've got the rotary controller knobs, the mechanical pitch and mod wheels, the MPC style RGB pads, MIDI keys, which is not a thing really. And then the software integration. So they're your why should I buy it reasons for this, and it's cheap, $99 US. So there we go. Well done, Akai. Another good product. They've been kicking some stuff out lately. Well done, Akai. Yeah, in music, doing well. Should we go to the next, boys?
Yup.
Cool. This one, boys, you might like the fact that we're going back to Eurorack. Hooray!
Now we're talking.
This is the black version. There's also a silver typical Doepfer with the silver.
They always do a silver and black version.
Grey, if you want to call it that. This is the 1552. It's a sequencer. If you're wondering what it is, it does say it's a mini analog. It is an analog sequencer. It does have a bit of digital logic in it though. So it does have presets and that sort of stuff. But it's an 8-step sequencer. It is designed purely for Eurorack. If you're not sure what we're looking at here, it is definitely for Eurorack. It is a new product from Doepfer. They've only had this out since I think April, so it's been around for a little while. I just never got a chance to show it, and here we are showing it now. They've had a bit of a second suck of the sav on the social media about it. That's why. I think they released this in Super Booth, if I remember rightly. Anyway, adjustable sequence length, so you can configure it. In the sense, this is kind of similar to the 100M. In that sense, you can configure it from 1 to 8 steps. But where it gets different is you've got more like a Korg SQ1 style here. You've got playback modes, forward, backwards, pendulum, random, and repeat. You've got ratcheting to 2, 3, or 4 folds per step for re-triggers. So the ratcheting is kind of forced, but still useful in that sense. It does have a voltage range, so you can actually set the CV out on this from 1 volt, 2 volt, or 4 volt. So some interesting sort of options there. It does preset storage. What did you say? Sorry, Chris?
No, I was saying that's good.
Oh, that's good, yeah. You can save and recall up to 8 presets. So there's your digital logic in there. Okay. There's little buttons on the right-hand side for that. 12 HP, 50 millimeter deep. It's quite a deep module, by the way. You need a deep case for this. So there's quite a typical Doepfer with some of their modules get quite big. But I'll tell you, they're built like a proverbial brick dunny.
They weigh a ton.
They weigh a ton. Really, really good quality. You're looking at $200 in euros. Sorry, 200 euros for the black vintage edition, and it's a $20 discount if you want to have the older style silver edition. I would just go for the silver. You get the same thing, and who cares about how it looks? So
depends what they have in stock, Rants. Depends what they have.
That does happen. So this particular social media release is probably to release the black vintage looking faceplate that they've released. So that's a new thing, but it's been out since April, so it's not like overly new, this product, because we're now in October, aren't we? But there was a little video. This was done by Dreams of Wires. I don't want to play too much of this because I'll probably get in trouble, but this sequencer is there. So that's where we're looking on the Tip Top audio case, right? So let's have a tiny little look at this. And then we're going to skip. And we're going to skip. That's enough. I'm getting in trouble otherwise. So thanks for Dreams of Wise. if you have a problem with me showing your video. It is going to be linked in the blog article, which you can see below.
I was just going to say, Rance, it's good when you get to see a picture that's not a render. Doepfer are a bit guilty of this. They tend to release all their modules using
As
just
renders.
instead of... I guess it's kind of now their thing that they do that, but I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Because you can't really get... I mean, like, I didn't really comprehend that those buttons were illuminated buttons until I saw that video. And that's infinitely cooler, in my eye, than the render. So
it's a really good
just
looking
a
module.
little... Yeah, it's very nice.
Now, we've got sequences coming out of the proverbial in eurorack land. So this is going to enter into this massive pool. If you go to Modular Grid and type in sequences and press search, there is pages after pages after pages of sequences in there. It's a very big pool of competition. Now, the price for this, as I mentioned before, is between 180 to 200 euros. Daren, that's probably about 170 pounds, somewhere around that. So it's really quite competitive on the price, I feel. For us,
quite a lot.
It's only $350, Chris. It's not too bad.
Yeah, important to note though, it's only one channel of 8, so there's that.
So there's a
really
big
good
limitation.
for Berlin style techno, but you'll probably want that and something else.
The other cool thing about it too is it's got a clock reset input, and a lot of sequences don't. So do notice that down the bottom does have a CV input for clock reset, and that's a huge thing, because if you go to Modular Grid and you look at all the sequences and then go, right now I want to see one that's got a reset on it, so use the keyword reset, it will literally maybe 25% of that search has been 75% of that search has disappeared, and only 25% will remain. I don't know why. It's just a weird thing that they do.
It wasn't traditionally there, but that's not even really true. I mean, Bob put the 962 Bob put in a reset function with that 963 or something module.
Well, technically, there's a reset on each step, isn't there, on the 960?
Well, yeah, there is the sort of, like, if you know what you're doing, you've been to university, people know how to
wear your white
modules,
coat.
But but no, he had a simplified version of it that was for people who are saying this is too complicated, and he said, I'll create a little processing module that'll turn that into a simpler control signal.
Yeah,
but
I kind of feel like
it
would have been nice to add another CV input on this to manipulate some of the weird ratcheting options that it's got. So
it's the same old story. Once you start putting microprocessors in modules and then don't give them an analog input, that's kind of starting to wear a bit thin in the modular community now. I think people will expect a bit more. So a bit of catching up to do there, Doepfer, I think.
Yeah. You probably could
they'll work it out.
You probably could chain two of these together if you were smart with the gate and the clock and the reset. You probably could. I don't know how well that would work. It might not
go really well with the GP82.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also the right colour.
Indeed. A good little plug there for you, that's for sure.
You have to get one just for that reason.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, I think that one's done. Now, there's another eurorack module that slipped through my fingers during the last few weeks. I did mention to you guys that we have been a bit amiss with eurorack, and that's this by Strymon, the SuperKar Plus. If you're wondering what SuperKar means, it's to do with car plus strong, right? So that's what this little module is all about. And let's have a little look. Before we do that, actually, let me just, they've got a whole bunch of, as you can see down the bottom here, of different sort of audio snippets through this video.
Examples.
So what I might do is just quickly show you a couple seconds on each, so that we're not like and let's do the chord voice. There we go. Harmony waves. It's an interesting module. I mean, they're talking about this thing having 32 voice polyphony. It's not really. It is, but not really. It's kind of. It can be that with chords and things like that, and strumming, and you've got so. There's a few things out there that do similar things to this. So it's once again, it's in a kind of mutable instruments corner. Yeah, that one exactly. Exactly. But it is different, though. It is different to that. Yeah. And Strymon do make a point about noting that it is different. So you'll notice that it's duosphere in a sense with its inputs and outputs. So you've got the solo voice on the left and the chord voice on the right. And that's done on purpose so that way you can actually use this thing in its entirety. And then you've got your stereo output, which is typical of Strymon with a lot of their modules down in Eurorack. It's stereo-based modules, which is a cool thing. If you know a little bit about Coupler Strong, you can get very, very quickly annoyed with how basic it can sound, and you probably think to yourself, I've done this is kind of limited. These guys are claiming that they've kind of opened it up a lot more so that you can get more sound design with this. That's the key to this. So it's because it's got the dual voice engine. It does have polyphonic MIDI input on it. It does have a lot of CV control for a little Coupler Strong module. It has multiple output modes. You've got two different stereo modes, wide and a narrow. You've got split voices and you've got mono for flexible routing. You can integrate inside it. It's got an integrated envelope and mixer. So with the mixer in this, it actually lets you do an internal mix for each voice. So you can actually get some different timbres with that, which is kind of nice. If for those wondering what it's behind this, it's not analog. It's actually a 520 megahertz ARM processor on this, which is a 32-bit floating point audio processing on this, which is nice. And whenever you do muck around with Coupler Strong, that's important because you can get into that real clippy, overdrived type.
You need a lot of headroom.
Yeah,
and floating point is the best option for almost what's technically infinite, they say.
Yeah, $399 if you buy it from Thomann or Strymon themselves. That's in US dollars. Daren, £389 from Anderton's if you want to get it in your part of the world. Chris, haven't seen an Australian release on this yet.
No, I haven't seen it in any of the shops or anything yet.
It is available in Europe from Thomann. Yeah. Who's into Coupler Strong?
Not a little bit.
I don't mind it.
Had to get one of them.
Yeah, got rings.
Yeah, exactly.
I always find it really good just for doing sort of ambient stuff with just tons of reverb on it, basically.
Yeah.
And you can get lost in little melodies just without having to, and quite a few tracks have come from that. So yeah, I don't mind a bit of Carpal song. And it's Strymon, so you're going to be putting it into, or you can put it into. Well, I'll be putting it into the foot pedals, but you've obviously got the Strymon. What's it called? Ranzee Strymon.
Well, there's a few.
One.
There's a few. There's the Starlab, which is their newer one, and there's the Magneto, which I've got, which is the tape
That's
delay.
it. My Magneto is what I was
one,
thinking of.
Yeah. But also you've got your standalone pedals like the Big Sky and the Blue Sky
Big
and
Sky and Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Night
Exactly.
Sky. I think the
So you
newer
just
one
sit
was.
there with a Carpal
Yep.
strong
New
box.
one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just sit there all day with it going into your reverb.
And have a 50-minute tail happening on it.
Yeah.
There's an album right
Have
there.
a cuppa. Come back.
Yeah.
Have a cuppa. Still ringing.
Inspired by Brian Eno. Yeah, so I kind of feel like not for me. Sorry, guys, not for me. Because I've already got the rings.
I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, me too.
I've got rings, but I wouldn't say no. But obviously, with it being Strymon, they are going to be quite pricey because they're very, very well built as well. So
Yeah, it's going to be about the $600 mark for us, Chris, when it hits our shores.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit pricey for a module. Sorry, guys. I mean, it's inherently digital. I understand there's a lot of effort and R&D that's gone behind it, but I don't know. I kind of feel like you can do Carpal strong with other types of technology. It doesn't have to be DSP based. There are other types of technology that you can attempt to do it with, and in that
BBDs
case,
and stuff.
yeah, BBDs and filters and all sorts of
And you get different tones out of them.
Yeah.
because You're pushing them into some of their out of their specifications.
Yep, and you
That's when
don't
it
get
starts getting
the
interesting.
digital restrictions, but at the same time, digital gives you unlimited code that you can throw at it. There's pluses and minuses with both. Yeah. But Strymon do a good job, and I reckon a lot of people out there will enjoy it. I don't personally know how playable the 32 voice module is. Yeah, but
Bit of a question mark.
bit of a question mark. Right. We have a couple more things to show before we finish the news segment. I told you it was a lot. This is just a week. Can you believe it? Just a week. Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
Not even going into a lot of the software.
Well, we are going into the software.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we have to talk about this one because this is probably a long
Yeah.
time. And that's Omnisphere 3.
exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Omnisphere, it would have to be probably one of the... You've got to have... If you're a synth guy and you've got a DAW, the Omnisphere would have to be one of the... I've got to have Omnisphere in my little packet
Oh
of
yes.
VSTs. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't have Omnisphere.
Oh, good.
I
thought it was
do.
just me.
Yeah, I know you do, Darren. And this
I
this
have.
is why I knew
I-
that we put it
this-
on the show. Yep.
This is already on my list when my new computer. I get my new computer.
So, Darren, I'm going to let you tell us about this in a sec. But I've never really I've never really bitten into the Omnisphere world myself, and probably because, as you know, Darren, I'm more of a hardware guy, less of a software synth guy. I'm not saying I'm not a software synth guy, but I'm just not I'm not going to invest $500 into a software synth. That's just not me. I'm not that person. I'd rather invest $500 into hardware. Personally, that's just me. But I don't know, Darren. Have you checked out the videos and stuff?
I've only seen the one video up to now. I was going to sit and watch the rest over the weekend. Because Omnisphere 2, so yeah, like you say, it's been quite a while since Omnisphere 2. But when they do updates, and you can see why it takes a long time and the amount of stuff. You say you like your hardware. I thought this had been more your thing, Rance, because it's not just your basic, your Rompler and synthesizer type stuff. Because some of the samples of where they get the samples from to using instruments are just so whacked out and bizarre. I thought you'd be quite into all that.
I definitely am.
Blowing an ostrich egg and things like that.
Yeah, hitting the stalactites in a cave, and I know, I definitely am. There's no doubt about it. But for me, the price has kept me away.
Yeah.
Because by the
It's been
time we
the same
pay
problem
our
here.
Australian tax on it, it's, you know, nearly $1,000 for a piece of software. You know, it's pretty
See,
nasty.
when I bought Omnisphere 2, I think it was 300, about 300 something. When I first got Omnisphere 2, which came with a little hard drive to load everything on at the time. In fact, I've still got the box with a hard drive. I mean, to explain it, it's just, I don't even know where you'd start. It's the reason I get it is because it's what, if I was to, when I set my new setup with a new computer and everything, it's one instrument that you can get away with as just one instrument. You don't need other synths. Yes, people say you'll have other synths, but it's an all-in-one package that's got everything you could probably want in it. A bit like, what's it called? Is it X for...
Complete?
Oh, what's that big... No, the big Rompler thing. Oh, it's not in my mind.
ReFX Nexus.
But this is not a Rompler as such.
Yeah,
Nexus, that's the one. Like, it's a massive package with just... I mean, the new version of that's tremendous as well. But yeah, play it, Rans. Let them... I don't even know where you can start.
I don't know if
it's
we
just
can...
an all-in-one package.
The video, I think we'll play the little intro with the guy in it. But just before we do, so Daren, for you, it's £139 for you to upgrade from your system to this. Okay, so that's
yeah, exactly.
That's reasonable. But the other thing a lot of people would be worried about is if I upgraded this and it's got a whole bunch of new samples and stuff like that. He talks about
big download.
This not taking any more space up than your Omnisphere 2.
Yeah,
and they've used different algorithms to make the the samples. There's more samples, right? But they're taking less space and it's lossless. So maybe they've used OGG, or I'm not sure what they've used, but they've used some sort of format. Maybe it's proprietary, I'm not sure. But that's pretty cool. I did like that. And the other thing too, which I liked in Omnisphere 2, and this has got it increased now in 3 with more, is that if you plug in, say you've got a Roland System 8, and you plug it in, and you say to Omnisphere, I've actually just plugged a Roland System 8 into you. Literally, it turns into a Roland System 8. In terms of all the controls on your System 8 will control anything inside Omnisphere. And that's something I've always liked since version 2. So maybe one day someone will donate it to me and I'll be happy. I don't know if I'm going to buy it.
Sponsor. Come on, guys. Sponsor our show.
I love the guy behind it, though. He's an absolute classic
Legend.
synth guy. Done some famous patches, over the years that we will know about. Anyway, let's look at the intro. This is a 30-minute video. We're not going to play the whole thing. I kind of thought when originally I saw Omnisphere, this was years ago when it was Omnisphere 1, I always thought to myself, geez, it wouldn't be cool if an Access Virus was as cool as this. Because I remember at the time I was thinking, I should get an Access Virus because they're really cool. But then this came out and I thought, gee, this is actually pretty awesome. And then I looked at the price and went, I can't afford either of them. Anyway, chatties are talking about this. So I know a lot of people will probably be in my side about this. It's probably one of those software synths that they can't afford. So the moment that you buy into it, like Daren did a few years ago when he got Omnisphere 2, it would have cost him an arm and a leg and probably his left testicle. But now that he's in and they've brought a new version out, and the new version is it's a huge update. It's not like a little tinkle of an update. It's a mass. And they do update this actually like constantly as well.
Oh yeah, I think because I mean you got your free updates from I think it was on it went to 2.5, 2.6, and obviously your big gap for your full-on new update of 3. But yeah, it's a bit like Ableton where they do the incremental updates in between the massive new version.
Yeah. So have you got 2.5 yet, Daren? It would have been a free update for you.
No, yeah, a free up. I think I was up. I think it's 2.6 to be honest. Without loading it up now, I'm using it on the latest track actually. I think it's 2.6 or might even be 2.65 or something like that.
Have you actually tried plugging?
But that was when it introduced
like one of your hardware synths into it and saying, "Hey, I've got a, I don't know, whatever."
Do you know what? When the 2.5 version, if I remember rightly, I didn't have a hardware synth that was on the list of synths that it had.
Yeah, because yours are older.
Because I didn't have actually. So they've updated a heck of a lot of hardware since now.
Yeah, true. Be interesting to see what the list is. Anyway, yeah. So apparently the 2.5 update was the one which added the hardware synth according to Wags. So thanks Wags for that.
Yeah.
There you go. So that was a while ago. So it just goes to show you that if you do buy it, you're not going to be stung every year like with some of these DAW software packages.
No, like I say, since I bought it, I've not had to pay for anything, any updates or anything they've done for Omnisphere. So when you look at it like that, it's a bit like your door. I mean, I'm still on 9.7 until I get a new computer, so it's not as expensive as you think.
Yeah,
if you look at it that way. But again, it's personal preference because some people will say, I'm not an Omnisphere person or whatever. But to me, I just like it because it's just got everything that it's a big synth. It goes very deep or it's very simple. Depends on where you want to run it.
How much do you use it in your tracks, Daren?
I bet I use Omnisphere. I bet in 90% of my tracks is some Omnisphere synth whacked in there, even if it's just a layer.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to think. Even my live stuff, I've done sequences and stuff and sampled it obviously down for playing live. And there's very rarely there's not an Omnisphere sound in there at some point, even if it's just a sound bed to put underneath everything. So yeah, I very rarely not use it. It's one of those. It's also one of those things. Like if I'm struggling with a track or thinking, I just need a certain sound because there's so much in there and you can play about with it. Even if you don't get the sound you want, it gives you an idea of where you want to go with things. So
it's a good ideas generator.
Yeah, and also I like the new split. They've split and morphing that they've done in the Omnisphere 3 now. So you can have your keyboard split into, I don't know, many times of different sounds and morph between them as well. So that's really nice. And the randomizer, they've got a randomizer. I didn't look into it much, but it's like a randomizer which actually creates new patches there and then by randomizing certain things. So it's a patch that's never been made before, which is just going to be cool anyway, because I can see just hitting that button or clicking that thing until you come up with something that's amazing. Save that. And it's a whole new patch that no one's made, or so that sounds great.
Yeah. So
that gets hit to death.
The question that people will be asking is, what is like a quick go-to? What is the difference between Omnisphere 2 and Omnisphere 3 as a quick go-to? I've done a very quick feature comparison. So I'll say to you that it's got new adaptive global controls. It's got new patch mutations. We can go into any of these if you want to. It's got new quad zone modulation. I'm not going to say new anymore because everything else is going to be new, right? 36 filter types, vintage oscillator drift, dual frequency shifter, EDM wave tables. That's interesting, actually, because it's more than what you think it is. So the research into that, I actually remember him talking about it. Classic glide modes. Deep sampled sound sources, they do that in every Omnisphere update, and expanded hardware integration, which we talked about earlier. So that's a real quick list of the new features. There's more than that, by the way.
And something else, they've got a whole load of new effects. I can't remember the amount of effects, but the effects now can be put into your DAW as just effects if you're pulling up a normal effects. So that's even miles
effects,
better now.
Yeah.
No, I mean you can just bring up the effects, the Omnisphere effects into your
as a
DAW,
separate,
like you bring the reverb in.
Yeah.
As a separate plug-in type of thing.
The what was the thing that I was going to say? So the EDM wavetables, apparently they researched what the modern types of EDM type synthy sounds were, like the super saws and all those sort of real EDM type stuff, and they've it's all contemporary sort of styles, right? So that was actually pretty interesting, I thought, and that does bring Omnisphere into a little corner that maybe it wasn't in before. So that might be kind of very strategic for them. The quad zone was interesting, Daren. Complex. This is what you were talking about. The complex modulation across 4 zones. So you got 4 separate zones that you can modulate across.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I can't explain it as good as they can, but you basically can split into 4 zones and cross mod it and morph into each zone, and that's separated on your keyboard as well. So, and it can be all MIDI tracked, so you can basically morph between 4 quad zones through the keyboard as well via MIDI, and it's just
awesome.
That'll be going live next year when I get it.
Well, that's cool. Omnisphere, and so do go head out and grab that if you've got Omnisphere already. Obviously, it's cheaper than the $499 US price tag for the outright purchase. So for those who are in the US, it's $199 if you own Omnisphere 2 and $249 if you own Omnisphere 1. So I know some people were hanging out. I remember when we talked about Omnisphere 2 or 2.5 years ago, and some people, I remember them saying in chat they were going to hang out for Omnisphere 3 because they don't like to buy the next version. They'll buy the one after. And I reckon they missed
the thing
out
with
on
Omnisphere though. The thing with Omnisphere is because they do quite good upgrades through the lifespan of that particular main set. You could be waiting quite a while for the next Omnisphere because the amount of stuff that they go to do, it's not a short project. It's not like an OS system where it's going to be updated next year.
That is true. Definitely. Okay. Now we do have more news. This time we're heading outside of the synths, outside of software, and into components. Oh yeah, there's a new Bucket Brigade delay out by SSI. Yes, it is. It's the 2100. Now, why is this interesting? Because I guarantee you this will appear in products, and then you'll think to yourself, I knew about that because Ranzee told me. A couple of things. It's a 512 stage analog delay IC. So you can think about what this is going to be able to do for you, right? So, things like delays and choruses and flanges and modulation effects, and even filtering type effects can be used with this as well. And there's also some sort of synth voicing thing you can use this for with higher frequency delays. Anyway, it offers a delay time ranging from 1 millisecond to over 1000 milliseconds, depending on your clock frequency. It can be integrated with, it's got an internal clock as well, sourcing itself from TTL CMOS from 5 volts or 3.3 volts compatibility with the different internal logic in it. It has an on-chip tetrode bias generator. Now, what that means, it actually eliminates the need for you to externally provide legacy supply voltage, reducing your component count. So when you actually implement this chip into your circuit design, you don't need as many components to drive it, which is cool. So it saves you money. And you can daisy chain these suckers. So you can daisy chain all Bucket Brigade delays technically. But
easier.
What it means is it's easier to daisy chain, like you said. So it gives you so where it's easier is to do with the calibration. That's
They're all the same.
Yeah.
They'll all match.
That's the trick. So if you just grabbed an older bucket breaker, say you've got the old Panasonic MN 3009, sorry, you would probably have to calibrate each one of them to daisy chain them because they were built in the 80s. Anyway, there's a nice little SOP package that you can see there with the 8 pins on it. So a nice little small package to shrink your build down. But I guarantee you guys, this thing is going to be in a synth or a FX product really, really soon. Because a 512 stage delay line is going to do some massive opportunities for different types of audio treatments. There you go. SSI 2100. You can get it from Sound Semiconductor now. They don't have prices, by the way. The reason why they don't have prices is because you need to buy thousands of these from them directly. But they will appear in places like DigiDirect and Mouser and places like that eventually. Eventually, where you can buy them in the smaller quantities. But if you want to buy them from SSI direct, you don't have to buy thousands. You
have to buy a reel.
Now I know guys that
They
watch
come
this.
reels,
I know there's a lot of Eurorack dev guys that watch the show. There's a lot of people that do, they do custom guitar pedals and things like that. So they'll be licking their lips at news like this. So hopefully that helped. I certainly love my BBDs, so it definitely popped an eyebrow for me. Any comments, Chris? I know you're into this sort of stuff as well.
Just everything you said was correct. They've just basically modernized a BBD rather than just... Because up to now, these guys have a few models before this as well that are direct recreations of famous BBDs with all of those quirks that were in the originals. And with BBDs, traditionally you had to give them 2 different power supplies, and you have to generate the clocks a very particular way, and you usually had to buy a specialized chip for generating the clock. You can get around that, but it was always an issue of the practicalities of working with BBD chips, even modern recreations, because they were based on the original designs. This is a truly modernized sort of design. This reminds me of what happened with op amps many years ago, where they went from needing an external calibration to having internally calibrated op amps, and that completely made a game change, because that meant that you could have quad op amps, which was chips with 4 op amps in them. These all things added to it made it possible for us to miniaturize and to have more complicated analog circuitry. So this is a similar kind of thing going on here.
Yeah. Well,
no, it's gonna
electronics makes sense.
I can think of you're right. All the modular guys are going to go, yes. No, and I'm sitting here going, I don't do much SMD. Oh.
I love my little camera.
No.
If only I didn't have such a shaky hand from being an old fart. It would be good. Anyway, you can always employ a monkey. Right, so SSDs and software and Eurorack and hardware, and the last thing, which is really interesting, is I need to get a little graphic for this, but there's we'll just go to us. So there's a new section that I'm going to start on the show called Firmware News. So instead of actually doing firmware update as part of our news segment, I'm just going to do Firmware News, and I'm just going to announce any new firmware that kind of hits the news in a major way during the week. Now, you guys might remember last couple of weeks ago we talked about the Microkorg 2 firmware update version 2, which was a game changer for that synth. Well, this week we've got 2 firmware updates, one from Teenage Engineering for the OPXY, which adds sample slicing now to the XY. So if anyone who owns an XY and they're thinking, wouldn't it be nice to have sample slicing? Now you've got it. It's in firmware 1.1.0. There's a little video. I'm not going to play it, but there's a little video on their website. You can go watch it. And if you're into 1010 music, which I know a lot of us are, they've got a firmware update now for the Bento, which is a pretty cool firmware update. I know those Bentos were actually flying off the shelves as well, to the point where you couldn't get them for a little bit. they've got a new viable wavetable synth now in a beta version of their firmware. So it's not kind of public yet, but you can go into their forum, download it, try it, break it if you want to. It's in beta mode, but the viable wavetable synth on your little bento box now is cool. It's an awesome thing. So good on the 1010 Music for doing that. So I thought that would be, we'll probably have a little stinger and I'll do that. Do you guys like the idea of doing a little firmware update segment right at the end of the news?
It's quite neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, if anyone's wondering about the links...
firmware updates. Because there's something that goes by the by sometimes. People don't realise that they're out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be quite, like you say, quite interesting and quite good.
I think it's generally useful.
Okay, good. So we'll do a stinger for that. The links, by the way, for those firmware updates are in that blog article, which is getting posted by the bot every couple of minutes anyway. So, but I do have a new segment on top of this segment, and that is this one. On this day, yep, on this day, farting in the wind was that sound. No, that was actually a mini mode. We are going to talk about what happened on the 18th of October. Yes, if you're wondering, this show was aired on the 18th of October, and a couple of cool things happened in the world, in music, and especially in synthesizers. For example, you may remember in 1979, the Buggles were #1 in the UK singles chart with Video Killed the Radio Star on this day. So there you go.
Wow.
Apparently, a studio recording, which was featured Trevor Horn, as we all know and love, was the first ever music video to be shown on MTV in America. So there's a couple of little bits of trivia to you that link us to this day in 1979, which I'm sure you'll love. Now, another synth related tidbit for you as well. In about 2 years later, in 1981, our beloved Dave Stewart teamed up with Barbara Gaskin, and they were also #1. Daren, you might remember this, on the UK chart with their version of Quincy Jones' produced 1963 It's My Party. So that was the Dave Jones and Barbara Gaskin version of It's My Party. I actually remember that. It wasn't my favourite song, but there you go. Dave Jones was doing something with someone other than Annie Lennox. That's interesting, isn't it? Sorry, Dave Jones. Dave Stewart, should I say.
Dave Stewart, I was going to say.
Dave Stewart.
Yeah, I was getting a bit confusing.
Now, let's get into some recent history. I've got a lot of history here that I can talk to you about, but let's get into some recent history. All right. So, last year, Sabrina Carpenter, right? And some people love her, some people hate her, whatever, it doesn't matter. But last year, she was the first artist in 71 years of UK chart history to spend 20 weeks at the #1 position for the calendar year. And that's with her single Taste. There you go. So that was Sabrina Carpenter last year on this day, on the 18th of October. I've got one more for you, which I think will actually... I've got plenty, by the way, but we'll just do one more. By the way, I'm going to ask Ian to do this segment because I reckon he'll love this.
He'd be good at it, yeah.
Let's go back. Let's go back to 2005 with our beloved Madonna. What did she get up to this day in 2005? Well, guess what she did? She sent ABBA a lovely little sort of little message and said, groveling letter it was. It's ABBA.
Oh, was it?
Says,
Please
let me use your sample on her latest single, which is called Hang Up, which you guys will definitely know now because she sought permission to use Gimme 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 from ABBA, and you guys know that was on that song Hang Up by Madonna, and it was famous and she made a lot of money from it. So there you go. That was on this day in 2005. Did you guys enjoy that?
Yeah,
that's good.
Am I? Yeah. Yes. So 2 new features there, yeah. Some firmware and on this day.
Yeah.
Cool.
Firmware won't always be every week because it depends if there's firmware or not.
No.
There's no.
On this day will be. Hopefully it would be because there's usually something happening in the week. But on the actual specific day of the show, it's kind of cool to get some of those little tidbits out there. And by the way,
It's
there's plenty
interesting,
more.
isn't it?
Plenty more stuff out there. You just got to surf the web. It's easier these days with AI tools, by the way, to do this sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Let us know in chat if you enjoyed that, and we'll get our mate Ian to run that segment. I reckon he'll enjoy that, unless he doesn't want to. Someone else can do it. Maybe Andy might do it.
It'll be embarrassing,
Yeah. All right. Now, warning: we have a scam.
Uh-oh.
We have a scam, people. And Henrik found it. It's a real one. And it's this one. This shave can website is selling the Behringer UBXa for $99 instead of whatever it was. I don't think $12.99 is the right price either. Whatever you do, don't click on any of the links. I have included the link in my section of this, so please don't click on it and buy stuff from it because that would just be stupid. But you're more than welcome to go check it out as long as you don't buy stuff and click on it and stuff. Actually, I'm going to change that over to you, and then the chatties can go. Yeah, which one are you? That bottom one. I know you're there twice. I know, it's exciting for you. There we go. All right, so I can actually bring it up. It's live, this little scam. There we go, shavecan.com. I wonder how many viruses it's going to put on my Mac while I do this. Here we go. Oh, the website's still up. There we go. That button. So this is it. It's kind of a really dodgy looking website, to be honest. But another thing that you'll notice is that all these products underneath are, like, for example, an Arturia Matrix Brute for $99 instead of $19.99, which I'm actually hovering my mouse over now. So it is really, really scammy. So if you do see these in your Facebook or on your browser as an ad, I really do recommend that you don't believe it. I mean, we're not that stupid, are we, guys? So
It's classic MO for scam websites. They clone the actual look of another website and then put everything in at ridiculous prices.
I have seen social media.
Anything,
I have seen social media where people have gone, "Oh, I bought this synth from blah blah blah, and I've never seen it and never got an email back, and they took my money, and now they're not answering my messages." These are the sort of places that do it. So yeah. All right, now I'm going to pause for a second because the next one isn't a scam, but I'm going to pause and I'm going to go to me. Hi. And I'm going to give you the second clue for the quiz. And I'm doing this on purpose so that you guys are thinking, oh, what? It's in the middle of Price Watch. What are you doing? But the second clue for the quiz is factor. So factor that into your guess, people. See if you can guess what it is. Like I said, it should be an easy one. And if you don't think it's easy, then I can't help you. All right, let's go to the second thing that I found this week. This one is not a scam. This one is interesting. It's a price watch as opposed to a scam. So this one is the Chordovox Freeman Model CSS String Symphonizer. Interesting. This is a string machine, I guess you'd call it, the Freeman string machine. But yeah, you go $1,500 US. Be careful if you guys are interested in buying old gear like this. This is from the 70s, obviously. You're going to have to maintain this. It's not
Get
going
used to using soldering irons.
I mean, it's going to be all through holes. It's not going to be actually too bad. But if it's got any sort of weird technology in it, that might be hard to replace certain components in it, and it might
Vactrals, for example.
Vactrals, or it might be paying a visit to Kent in Epping in the UK, and that might cost you a fair bit to get it to him as well. But I can tell you this is actually working. It does weigh quite a lot. It weighs 76 pounds. So it's quite a big thing. It's going to cost you a fair bit to ship it. But it is located in Indianapolis in the US, in a place called Danville. So if you're living near Danville and you do want a string synthesizer and you do want a Freeman string synthesizer, this may be right up your alley. Yeah. It's on eBay, by the way. I thought $1,500 wasn't too shabby for a Freeman string. Does anyone know the difference between Freeman strings and Salinas and what else we got? We've got the Korg stuff. There's a few string machines out there in the day, but does anyone know the difference in sound? Or are they all the same? Like, is the Freeman a Salina basically? Because some of them did have different names, but they were the same technology inside. This was definitely an organ topper by its design, right?
Sorry, just reading the chat. Yeah, I assume they all used divide down, so because that was the technology that was around and made it possible. So, but there's a lot of
that was the sound that it made, wasn't it, guys?
as long as the phases involved, yes.
As long as the phases involved, and the ensemble
certainly helps. Oh,
yeah. Isn't it a beautiful sound? We do love our string sounds.
It's a lovely sound. It's completely evocative.
All right, so there you go. Get yourself... that, by the way, wasn't a Freeman symphonizer. That was something else. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. But next is probably another scammy type price, but not a scam. A scammy price. Let's call it a scammy price. I don't think the Quadraverb 2 is 2,000 Aussie bucks. Just quietly, guys. And
Tell us, Daren.
Yeah, well, the button's not working today because I've got something plugged into the USB port. But $1,400 US is the price for that. £99 or $134 US to post it. It is located in Israel, of all places. This one is in Zichron Yaakov in Israel, and big shout out to all the Israelis, like Lupop, for example, who lives there.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if he actually lives there, but he's from there. Anyway, there you go. Quadraverb 2. Probably wouldn't spend £1,000, Daren. Would you agree?
I certainly wouldn't. No, I remember having the chance to buy one ages and ages ago. It was nowhere near this.
Yeah, that's probably about 5 times or 4 times the price it should be. Just my guess, my guesstimate. So that one's not scammy, but that one's just like you said, Chris. Tell him it's dreaming.
Yeah, it's just too much.
And last but not least,
Deep
we have
forward,
this. We have a Mini Moog Model D. It's very clean, apparently. Very clean, according to this guy.
Very clean.
Yeah. Now, can I tell you a little bit about this? It's eBay, as you can tell by the screenshot. I don't know why they've got the screen behind it.
Yeah.
It just looks really kind of just deceiving. Yeah. Anyway, the listing says it's in great cosmetic condition, but guess what, guys? This is a 2022 reissue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is the new one. No box, some paperwork, local pickup preferred, based in Dallas, Texas. However, $4,000 US and $4,250 US is not much less than what they were brand new. Not much less. And I'm not sure if you guys would want to sort of part with that sort of amount of coin. When usually the ones that are sought after are more the sort of 70s, early 70s release ones, because they have that vintage vibe, the heritage, different circuits are in them. So yeah. What are your thoughts on that, guys? What if you came across a Mini Moog, it was a 2022 model or it was a 70s model and they were kind of the same coin, which one would you go for?
Depends whether I was near a synth tech or not.
You can always just fly over to the UK and say good day to...
Yeah, lots of emails.
It depends how
me
much
and Kent, I think.
you want a Mini Moog from the 70s or just a Mini Moog Model D.
I'm not really I'm not really qualified to answer because I'm not not a full-on Moog enthusiast. I don't consider myself up in that sort of area of interest. I think deserves it. So
Right.
yeah.
Have you got a Model D? You got a Model D from Behringer?
Yeah.
Well, you're in there. You're in there enough.
Well, yeah. Well, if you
feel like a fraud,
if you want to know what I think, someone who's completely
buy
not
a
qualified,
Model D from Behringer.
never played a proper Moog in his life, although his sub is proper Moog, I'd be happy with the Model D because it's heaps cheaper and got modern features and takes up way less room. So
the Behringer one.
I would go for the 70s one if I had the option because I knew that would be completely different to what I've got here.
Same. And I would take the risk with the, having to repair it because they're not actually that difficult
exactly.
to repair.
It'd be a sort of an altar, a shrine upon which to spend time.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get that cool screen from behind it.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
Do you think they're trying to make it look like the Voyager's trackpad, or?
It's weird. It's weird, isn't it?
It's probably trying to make it look like you get the screen with it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you get a screen with the modern version. I'll have one of them.
Isn't this the modern one? Oh, we've got to put the screen next to it, show that it's modern.
Maybe. Well, who knows what they get up to in Texas? All right. Well, guys, that's it for Price Watch. Let's pop out of Price Watch. Now, let's do some news. Okay, so let's officially pop out of all the segments, and we'll hit Saturday Sonority because we've got to get through some things in Saturday Sonority today. Indeed, we do. Couple of things. So you guys might remember a few weeks ago I mentioned to you guys that I might be getting a new synth, and I can say to you that a new synth did arrive, and it's here in front of me. Here it is here. That's its sound.
So now it's the countdown. Name that synth.
So there you heard it. That's all I'm going to show you. No, I'm just kidding.
Sounded like at least five or six notes, maybe.
We are going to be checking that out, but also we are also going to be checking out. This is in Saturday Sonority. We're also going to be checking out Phase Distortion, and we're going to use the Arturia CSV for that to help us out. So that's going to be part of Saturday Sonority. And the other thing too is you guys might remember hearing this sound during our Price Watch.
Oxygen.
What is that? Is you're wondering? It's not a strike fet. It is actually a real, true string machine, and yeah, it's a Behringer Selena. I got a Behringer Selena during the week.
Oh, cool!
Yeah,
nice.
So it is actually really nice.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people rave about it. So a lot of people said they think it's a really good recreation. I've held off on getting one because I've had the strike fet, and I thought that does the job for many, many years. It's a digital thing though, but actually, what impressed me most about this is it actually really does sound like a Selena. The phaser in it is beautiful. You just heard it. It's delicious.
Yeah, it sounds
so
great.
Yeah, no problem at all there. No problem at all. So that's sitting just over here. There's not really a lot to show you. I can chuck it under the camera if you want.
Selena doesn't have a lot of controls on the top.
Yeah, not a
lot.
lot.
Blank panel space and three or four blank buttons.
All right, so you guys are dying to know what the synth is that I bought. Okay, well, I've been hinting at it for the last 2 weeks. It is the Korg Micro Korg 2.
Oh, cool.
And I bet you a lot of people didn't realise that I was getting one of those.
No.
And not only that, it's the white edition.
Oh, right.
And you're probably recognising the white edition does look a lot different. Sorry about all the Nessie cables there, guys.
kind of does, yeah.
Light Edition looks a lot different to the ones that you see on the videos. So yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
It's a beautiful sounding little synth, and Korg have done an amazing job with this. And I mentioned to you guys during the last couple of shows where there's a new firmware version 2 on this, where it does some interesting things like there's no internal clock. Okay, let's put an internal clock on it.
Phrase sequencer arpeggiator thing.
Yeah, so we can then looper mode's on, and we can load. That's the little sequencer thing on here, and it's got a slice looper mode, and you can actually load up. There we go. We can do that one, so we can execute that. Done. Now the microKORG is playing one of Ranzee's loops, and then we can go into slicer mode's now on. You can go into arpeggiator mode now. So you can see the playhead actually moving up here.
Yeah.
One of the things you can do is you can actually use the mod wheel to reverse it. And you can turn slice mode off, and then you can go.
Yeah, I dig having a, basically a loop player and with your keyboard. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is that slicer mode is really, really cool fun. So you can load your own samples. It's really simple to connect this up to your Mac, drop a sample in. It's just you have to power it off and go into the, connect to your computer as a drive thing and drop the file in. It doesn't take very long at all, really. I can show you guys that in a sec. But there you go, microKORG version 2 firmware, and it's an absolute gem. I've got, what have I got on here? I do have a modulation effect that I've put on here, which is a SDK. Yeah. So let's have a look at that. Right, so if you go to mod section here, and then you can select your mod type, and you keep going, and you get to user. So now it says user there, and you'll see the next one here is morph EQ. So morph EQ, and I've got Atom. So I've got two different ones. So Atom is like a reverb sound. Atom might be the filter, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely the filter.
Yeah, this is the filter. And then you can just change it to these are the log SDK. So this is morph EQ. So if it's got pages on it, you just hit the mod button again, and you can scroll between pages. crackle there. Yeah, some interesting stuff. And you can turn effects off by doing that. Now that effect is not working. Go back to the home screen. Oh, that's the other thing I love about this too. I used to always hate on the Microkorg, the original one, how to get back to the home screen. On this, it's simply just hit that button. So if you're in one of these sections, like say I'm into the filter, you can see it says home. It's always there. Get back to it, and you get all the predetermined macros and everything on here. It's a really if you own a Microkorg and you get this, it's very easy to get yourself around it because you know it exactly. It's very similar to the previous, but it's just packed full of more features. So it's like it's got twice as many voices. It's got 3 oscillators plus noise. Also, you can turn the third oscillator into a modulation source, which is cool because that means now that you can assign the third oscillator to any modulation source, and it's an oscillator, not just a basic bunch of LFO waveforms. So you can put all the complex oscillators in there, and you can get some really interesting effects like pitch oscillation and stuff like that. So that's cool about it. So that looks like this. So you go into the third oscillator, and then you just change your third oscillator, right? So these are all the different oscillators that you always had, and you keep going to here, and then you get the user oscillators, right? These are all the different user oscillators that you can use. So there's all kind of cool little hidden gems and Easter eggs and things on here with the new firmware. And you guys watched the video a couple of weeks ago that we showed on it, and you can check it out. But there you go, Microkorg. Some fun with this thing. Just 8-bitty sounds. Because you've got all those extra oscillators and all those user oscillators, this thing can sound very digital, but it will sound very analog. And the analog stuff on it is actually beautiful. The VA system, if you guys are used to that Korg MS2000 type VA system, it's been around for a long time. They've improved it in here. It's really quite good. It can sound really analog. It's got drifty sounds as well. Yeah, Daren?
I was looking at the Microkorg 2 because it's like Microkorg 2, or Hydrosynth Voyager, or Mini Freak. Those 3 that I keep humming around, all those 3, and I still can't make my mind up. But it's always good to have a quick home button. I love that in things. Yeah. Well, yeah. I hate it when you get lost in menus and you can't get straight back home. That is the be-all. Everyone should always have that.
Mini Freak is on my list at the moment, Daren. So that'll still probably happen. What was the other one? The Hydrosynth Voyager.
Hydrosynth, yeah.
Explorer.
Is it Voyager?
Explorer.
Explorer
is the smaller one, yeah.
Yeah, the small.
With the keyboard.
But then it's so close to the
desktops.
It's so close to the desktop standalone price, so you might as well get the desktop one if you don't want the keys. But, yeah.
I've been looking at the same thing, Daren. It's interesting. Yeah, I've got the Mini Freak, and I'm thinking of getting a Hydrosynth.
Yep.
So it's interesting. Yeah. It sounds like the answer is you'll need 2 at least of the 3.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What else was I going to say? There is a librarian thing for this as well that you can upload and download patches on it. It's pretty basic, so there's nothing really to show you there. And there was actually a whole bunch of other features that the version 2 firmware that I mentioned before is on this. I haven't had a chance to actually even play with it. The thing that I really wanted to get my hands straight onto was that little looper and step recorder, audio-based step recorder, which is actually really cool. So that's new. So you can actually bring audio into the Microkorg 2 through the external input and record and record it in time, because it'll start recording it when you tell it to.
Yeah. On the steps, yeah.
And it will do it on the steps, on step base. So it just does each step when you want it, which is friggin' insane. So then you've actually got an audio-based step sequencer, which is like I think Lupop said in his video, I don't think there's another product out there that does that I'm aware of. He may have been wrong. I may also be wrong.
Think so.
I don't think there is. So that makes this unique.
Well, let's put it this way. If there is, there's very few. You're going to have to look hard to find them.
There might be some boutique out there that does that.
There could be, yeah.
And I bet it's not as cheap neither to get that.
Yep. Well, I got this for an absolute steal. So that's one of the reasons why I got it, because I got really like blown away by that firmware update. And then I was looking on eBay, and eBay gave me a $50 Australian discount.
Cool.
On top of the price that was already discounted. So eBay paid for the discount, not the shop. So the shop didn't lose any money out of it.
Yeah.
And I got this already discounted because it was a white edition, and I don't know why they weren't selling. This actually looks beautiful. I've got the white JDXi.
Yeah.
So I'm into white synths. I like them. I like the Access Virus Snow, the JDXi, they're all white. I love the reface. The reface is just sitting here. Oh, also you get this cool little bag too. This nice little bag. Got to put it over your shoulder. Go to the shop. Your micro Korg. Speaking of white synths, there's a reface that's a white synth.
Yeah.
You know, so I like them. I don't have a problem with them.
You need a stand now with all your white synths on.
Yeah, a little white synth stand
in the background.
You white synth stand or a white corner. Just paint the corner of the room white. Have your white synths there, and they disappear into the wall.
It's already white.
That's off-white though, isn't it?
It's actually a grey, I think.
Oh, but now, yeah, but then you're gonna have to have like behind that a modular with all white stuff.
Yeah, it's
all
not
white
bad,
modular case with these white synths.
Got my Ranzee module. That's white.
Yeah.
Okay. So enough about the micro Korg. We can sort of muck around with that over the next few weeks if you guys want. If you guys want to see a feature, just sing out and chat too. Let's talk about phase distortion, because that's what the topic was, and I don't want to upset people because they do message me and say, you're promising stuff and you're not showing it. Here we go. Phase distortion. Here is a phase distortion synth. A little bit about phase distortion.
Never promise anything. You just say we may end up talking about it.
Yeah.
You're never wrong.
People just vote with their feet, Daren. So phase distortion synths are kind of an interesting thing. Okay, so you don't need to go out and buy a Casio CZ series synth because they're digital. So the algorithms that are in this particular VST, and there are a few others out there. So don't worry about it too much. But if you do get your hands on one, lucky you, they're really hard to find in Australia. So my problem I've got is I live over here. But let's just show this little graphic anyway. So this little graphic here shows a little kind of nerdy idea. On the left, in column A, you've got a sine wave, the waveform, down the bottom. So you're looking at amplitude and time, right? And above it, you've got this pi-based phase angle theorem, which is applied to the waveform as a distortion. Now, if you look to column B, you can see that distortion then applied and how that affects the waveform. So you'll see in column B, the original wave and phase angle is shown in dotted lines, and the affected phase angle and waveform is shown as a solid line. So that just gives you an idea. Now you can see in that we've gone from a sine wave to almost a sawtooth waveform. So that's how you can get a sawtooth waveform in a digital synth, I guess, by just using a sine wave, which is pretty cool. And if you go to a lot of the Casio CZ series synths, you'll see the waveforms here, and they are saw, square, pulse, and then you get these double sine, saw, pulse, and then you get these resonator waveforms, and we'll talk about those in a sec. So in this particular case, I've got 2 lines. So I've got 2 voice engines, but each voice engine has 2 oscillators. Okay. And then, so we can choose so that sawtooth that I showed before, remember this little graph? That's how they made it in the software, basically, inside the synth. And that's the actual, they've given that to you. In a way, this is like a wavetable. So you're selecting it, right? Yeah. It's preset. You can't actually play around with the phase distortion part of it. They've already done the phase distortion part to achieve this waveform for you. So you get to choose. So squares are like squares and pulses are like pulses. Notice they're a little bit more like a squashed sine wave though. Yeah. And then you got these double sines. And you can listen to what all these sound like. And on the Arturia, you do get a custom, which is actually pretty cool, where you can actually play with the phase distortion function. Yeah, and you can learn a little bit more about it if this. Yeah. So this is why I suggest if you do want to get into phase distortion, this Arturia, and there's a few others, this one's good fun because it actually can teach you a little bit about how phase distortion works. And I'm learning. Okay, I'm not going to admit that I'm knowing all the shit, but you can see that you can muck around with the waveform in here, and there's presets here as well that you can save and you can add points to this thing and like all sorts of cool stuff, right? Anyway, let's go back to the basics. So we've got in fact we need to enable this down here
and MIDI, yep.
And we need to turn off some of these other sounds. Cool. So that we got right. There is some effects on here, but that's built into the Arturia, so don't worry about it. So let's just go through a different sound. So that's a square. We can turn line 2 off. So let's just listen to what this sounds like. So in this case, I've got 2 oscillators. And if we change the 2 oscillators to the same sound, you'll hear. Sounds like a square wave, right? Nothing exciting. And then you can go to that pulse width, which is like a squash sine wave.
Yeah, but it sounds different to a normal pulse wave.
It sounds way different. And do you notice too, it kind of has a bit of a filtery sort of sound to it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it also has a bit of an FM DX7-ish kind of sound to it as well. And because these synthesis methods are kind of similarly tied. Obviously, the root of them is the sine wave, right? So that's your building block. That's where it all kind of is similar, but vastly different in the way it achieves its waveforms and things. So what we could do though is we could go back here and choose our square wave, and we could have our second waveform, and we're getting 2 waveforms. And really, there's nothing majorly going on here that's not other than you've got 2 waveforms mixed together in a mixer, and that's what it sounds like. And you can actually change what level each waveform goes. The next part of your building block with, by the way, you can actually sync these, link these, all that sort of stuff. You've got all these little features, right? The next part of your building block with your phase distortion synth is your DCW. And your DCW is kind of like this envelope in a way, right? But it's like a modulation control over the phase distortion, and you've got an amount thing there, and you've got a shape thing, and we can get all kind of different sort of sounds out of this by changing this. And you can see this actually traveling across, the little blue dot traveling across, right? And there's my rate there, right? Okay, then what we're going to do is turn line 2 on. now you're starting to get really thick sort of sounding oscillators and voices, and it's really starting to become more than just a sterile digital sort of sound. So real quick thing there. Let's talk a little bit about the DCW just before we sort of go into it. So the DCW, there's a couple of, I kind of don't want to jump too much around the place, but you've got this digitally controlled wave shaping. So this is kind of like a wave shaping control. It's actually a pity it doesn't actually, it does show it down here if I can zoom in somehow.
You sort of need an oscilloscope, don't you?
It's down here, so you can see. You can see him wiggling a little bit, but these can be manipulated by these controls. So this one here we can change a little bit now, make it different. So that's helping. You can change the zoom on this. So that's what the DCW does. It's kind of like a wave shaping control, but more it acts like an envelope, and it does it over a small amount of time, like an envelope does as well. I actually really kind of like the idea of phase distortion as a model of synthesis. Let me just pop to us for a sec while I get the next thing set up. The reason why I like it is it's kind of like I think we've been more like digital synths. We've probably been more focused on FM or PM is the true term of it. And here we are. We're learning about operators, and you've got the carrier and the modulator, and your sine wave, and FM's kind of that with the algorithms of the operators, the way they work. Whereas I feel like the phase distortion, I don't know, if I was introduced to this younger, I reckon I would have been really big on this. I probably may have been even bigger on this than I was on FM. And I think the reason for it is I feel like you can kind of cheat in a way. It's kind of like there's a way you can get this thing to sound really analog.
Okay. So that sounds like a safer playing ground than FM, for sure.
Well, it probably is in that sense. It's probably simpler, but it is complex in some degrees too, because people may go, okay, I don't really get this DCW thing. I'm not really unsure. What does that kind of mean? What wave shaping? What, like it, and how's it a wavetable? They're kind of like, they'll sort of be in that realm. But for my mind, I like the idea of like, you've got these resonator waveforms, right?
Yeah.
So, cool. And they can sound, let's just turn off line 2. And with those, you can actually mimic a filter sweep. So, it's kind of cool what you can do. Let's go back one. All right, sorry, I didn't have you guys on screen then, did it? It's my fault. So I'm just changing the DCW.
There you go.
So are we buying the Behringer then, Chris?
Sorry, what was that, Dan?
I said, so are we buying the Behringer now then, Chris?
Possibly.
Mm.
I might play with this first though. I'd have to play the demo because I don't own the full V correction. So,
but I mean, sound design on this is fun. It is actually fun. Yeah. Like it's not much different to playing with a wavetable synth in that sense. So you'll probably feel at home if you're into wavetable synths. You'll feel at home a little bit. The idea of the phase distortion shouldn't really completely drive you bonkers, because Casio took it away from us anyway by providing us with those selectable waveforms anyway. But in this case, with the with the Arturia, we get the opportunity to make our own custom ones, and then you can actually play with the phase distortion stuff yourself, which, if you want to, that might send you a little bit bonkers, but it's good fun just to have a play anyway. But don't forget, that's just the I've just shown you the oscillator side. Then on top of that, you've got your standard envelopes on top of this, right? So that was just the pitch, the DCW, and the amp is all part of the oscillator. Then on top of that, you've got envelopes, and then you've got modulations that you can apply on top of that, so LFO type modulations, right? So, you know, the sound design side of it is pretty intense. And when you think about it, Casio made this back in the 80s, and it was huge, like what it could achieve. And I can see why so many people were raving about it. It just didn't quite have the same amount of legs as the DX7.
Yeah.
Probably the marketing machine. I'm not sure. I said it didn't really reach Australia, so that's its fault. It didn't reach Australia. No.
Yeah. Then and perhaps not a big enough group of synth patch designers.
Well, I think it would have done if it was like Roland or Yamaha who had brought this out. I think it would have gone a lot further. With it being Casio, it was sort of like you say, Casio was only known for certain things in certain countries, so it didn't really get the legs there, did it?
Yeah. And I kind of wonder why Roland or Korg or Yamaha didn't do phase distortion. Did Casio own the rights to it? Did they patent it? I don't think, though, because phase distortion is actually it's a physics mathematical theorem.
They do have patents, because some of the stuff I've read is from a patent.
Yeah.
From Casio. So there's some patenting involved. So how much they patented, I don't know. They probably patent a particular implementation. It's usually how it goes.
One of the things,
you can't really patent the concept.
I mean, one of the things you can do, guys, is if you do get the VST from Arturia, is go through the presets. But when you go through the presets, actually, so let's look at, let's do a keys preset, and we'll do like a piano sort of sounding one. It's got piano 1, right, which is a Casio actual preset. So click on that. Now, what I want you guys to do is look at the line 1 and line 2 oscillator selections, the DCW graphs, and just watch how this all changes. Watch this. Bang. So now we've got 2 pulse width, which I would call squashed sine waves. Let's get 2 squashed sine waves. We've got this really interesting fast attack, because you want to have that hammer sound of the piano. This line over here is completely off.
It's turned off, yeah.
Right? So we're just relying on the 2 oscillators with very little DCW there. There's a bit of a pitch envelope happening here, right? And there's the amplitude envelope. So what does it sound like? Sounds like a Casio piano sound to me, which is probably in 1,000 different Casios that you've heard, right?
Exactly, yes.
But it does have a bit of a piano, like it really does have a little bit of a piano sound. Nothing like a real piano though, but like an electronic version of a piano. And it's interesting to see how they've used phase distortion to achieve that. One thing I've noticed is they're using ring modulation on this. So if you go into modulations, there's your ring modulations there. And look at I love this little section here with the matrix, and it's so much fun. This is a really, really cool fun VST. Good fun. Then you've got envelopes. There's no envelopes on this, on modulation, but on the actual amp envelope, there's your amp envelope there, which notably, by the way, you can access also here. It's the same thing. Okay. So it's just 2 different screens to give you the same thing. So that's a piano sound. Okay, so let's try something different, like a string instrument. That would be under strings. Do they have a strings? Yes, strings here. Okay, and there is the actual Casio preset there, the strings ensemble 1. And now we've got sawtooth, which you'd expect. You'd expect the sawtooth sounds to be on strings. That second oscillator's not used. They've probably got some effects. Yeah, they've got a chorus and a reverb, which we can turn off. So let's turn those off for now, because we don't want to hear the effects. Modulation. that would be a slow attack. That would be what you would expect a string sound to have, right? And let's have a listen. So we got some pitch modulation happening to give that sort of vibrato sound. So that would be over here, and we would need to find these. And that sounds stringy to me. It's not like knocking it out of the park. But don't forget, this is like really old technology. What else do you want to hear? Like a synchy sound, maybe? Here we go, synth lead. Try that. So this is a square wave. I actually love the sound of the square wave in this, and it's kind of interesting because the square wave, it's kind of almost, defying physics from a sine wave to a square wave in a way. But the way the phase distortion works is you got to think of it from a point of view as the math, right, using pi or 2 pi, depending on how you look at it. The way that would actually change the shape of the waveform using distortion. So, yeah, I mean, technically a square wave is an on and an off waveform, right? Technically, right? So we always see them as these, square looking things, but technically you've got something happening or you don't. That's a square wave, and it happens at a very fast frequency, right? So it shouldn't be hard for a digital oscillator to achieve that. By the way, Chris, you're kind of really
have I gone choppy, have I?
Yeah, frame rate's
my
just
frame
really...
rate's gone.
Don't matter. It's probably just your connection. Okay, so phase distortion. Do you guys love it? Like, do you hate it? Does it sound naff? Does it sound cool? Do you feel like there's more that you could do with it?
It doesn't sound naff. It sounds interesting, really.
Absolutely. I dig the sort of, the way you create control frequencies instead of using a filter. You're controlling the modular, the distortion intensity, so to speak. It's kind of cool. Yeah, the pulse waves. I still want to learn a bit more about how that actually works, but
yeah,
kind of does my head in at the moment. But I love the sound of it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is
to play with it.
Yeah, get this one and start playing with the custom, Chris. So you can actually play with
do a bit of
phase
research.
Yeah, I like this. This is good fun. So you've got bass and a target. So we may want to do that, and then we may want to, yeah. So you can. That's kind of like a.
Yeah, that's the actual. What the W. Yeah.
It's almost like that first waveform is then connected to the second waveform. Because I'm looking down here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that first waveform there, which is my custom one, which I've just designed. So I've got a bass and a target. Remembering what I taught you guys about, really basic lesson about the way phase distortion works. Okay, so your target is your waveform, and your bass is what distortion you want it to be, right? Which this is what I'm assuming. And then you look at these two waveforms here. So that would be the first, and it's passing into the second. So if you look down here where it says line 1, the top one, we'll zoom in on the Mac so you guys can see. So it should show that weird looking waveform first, but over here it should show a square wave. So this part of it will be So that's more like a complex waveform now, isn't it? Watch this. See the square wave there on the right?
Yeah.
And there's that complex waveform on the left. And don't you love how this thing...
I love the animation, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it
great.
just... It's like this waveform is alive. It's like, I'm going to sit back down, thanks. I'm going to move and I'm going to sit back down. And that's almost sawtooth square wave merged sounding to me. So, and that makes a lot of sense because I have probably drawn that there. It's kind of a very bad sawtooth there, in a way. Yeah. I'd say that's what I've done. And what did I just do? Yeah, back. Cool. So yeah, if you get your hands on a Casio, instead of having those beautiful graphical tools that I just showed you on the Arturia, you've got
a bit more.
an old LCD screen and it's all a bunch of numbers.
That's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? That's what made it probably not as accessible back then.
Yeah, Bicky, that's what I thought, mate. It's playing one after the other. So it's kind of like it's like the first wave leads into the second and it joins the two waveforms together and you get a complex waveform. And that's interesting because then you've got that DCW control of how it traverses across that. It's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That changes the shape of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you've got your envelopes, and on top of that, you've got your modulations. So you can go crazy with this.
Yeah, it's kind of advanced wave shaping.
Well, I mean, the graphic definitely leads me to believe it. And also, if you look at the animations, it looks like you get that little sort of blue ball traveling from left to right across all the different things. So it's kind of like a time-based thing. And in fact, when you're even looking at even this graphic that I showed you guys earlier, it's time-based. So you can see time is starting from the left and moving to the right. So, you know, everything to do with the way this operates is time-based. And as you guys know, if you learn physics and you're doing waveforms in physics, you have to understand the time factor of how waveforms work. So if you want to start doing the calculations, you know, there's some basic theories there, but you don't need to because they've done it all for you. And you can actually play with little cursors and stuff and move them around and have them animate in front of your face. And then you're actually making your own waveforms. I can actually do 2 custom ones as well. So in this particular case, let's do like a triangle. And then, sorry, you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm now customizing the target. I'm going to go up, down, and up again. And let's have a look down here to see what happens. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to change the DCW on this and see. You can actually see it morphing, the wave shaping it down there. As I move that DCW, you can see it changing it there with the blue line, but down here you can actually see the whole shape of that waveform being changed.
Yeah.
Now, what you can do, I believe, with this software, I haven't actually worked out how to do it yet, but I'm sure it's probably simple, is you can actually modulate that. You can actually have that whole thing modulated.
I thought that's what your envelope was for.
But as we turn that off, it's... Yeah, so that's really cool. I like that. So where do we modulate that? I know how you can do it somehow. Under modulations.
Isn't that already directly...
In the envelope?
Yeah, I thought it's already mapped to the envelope. So your DCW envelope is
your modulation.
Is your modulation of your DCW. And the DCW control is what you're modulating.
There you go. It's changing it now. You can actually see this little thing move, the dot here. Interesting. And then you got these modulations here. So you can actually put an LFO on it. There you go. Okay, so I turn that down into the negative. That's going to change that now. Yeah, it's changed it. Yeah, so that's where you achieve it there. If I put it back up.
And it's by default, it's probably mapped that way in the synth.
Yeah.
To start with.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a real oscillator based design type synth. You know, as opposed to subtractive synth, which is more like you start with your oscillator, then you work with your filter, and then you work with your envelopes. And it's more about using this filter to subtract some of the sound of your oscillator out to give you that timbre. Whereas this, you're kind of more actually molding an oscillator to manipulate itself to, you know, either use wave shaping or modulation to actually change the way the oscillator is affecting it. And so just a different approach, but I don't think it's totally foreign to us as people that understand the way waveforms work. I don't think it's completely foreign, and I feel like it's really, really closely related to wavetable synths as well. So I feel like if you guys haven't ever tried phase distortion synths, I don't think you'll find it that hard to do. The comment that I spoke to quite a few people during the week about it, that, you know, we were going to have some people come on the show, but we ended up deciding not to for various reasons. But what a lot of people said is a lot of people get bored with it very quickly because they don't have the time to, you know, sound design in it. They just want to do presets, you know, that's how life is, but they find the presets quite distilled in their sort of timbre compared to the equivalent presets in other types of synthesizers.
Yeah.
That's kind of the general gist of it, and Casio did lose a bit of that sort of following because of it, but I feel that the sound design part of it is where it excels, and if you do spend some time with it, you can actually get some really incredible sounds out of this thing. And, you know, it's a bit like what Manny used to say about FM. You know, in the same thing, you can get some amazing FM sounds if you actually spend the time and develop them. Same thing with phase distortion. There we go.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
so yeah,
I like it.
I mean, that might not be anything like what the Behringer thing can give you. Where's that graphic for the Behringer gone?
Well, it sounds like it's going to have the same basic structure, just without probably the modulation possibilities. It definitely has the long. You can see it has the multi-stage envelope.
Yep.
Which will definitely be a DCW envelope.
You've definitely got the DCW buttons, and I reckon there'll be some sort of dialing up numbers on the OLED display if you press the button in the middle of the. I reckon that's how that would work.
Yeah, I think if you probably tweak it with the parameter knob.
Yep.
You know, hold it down and change it. Change how much.
I reckon there'd be some
overall mix.
There'll definitely be some tweakability with that. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna. I reckon people are gonna have some degree of fun with it. It may not quite go as far as the Arturia VST does. It'd be nice to have some of those little graphical representations.
Yeah, it'd be good to have
wouldn't
an
it?
editor. Someone's going to make an editor for it, surely.
I'm sure you get your little waveform on the screen because they do on the VS, so I'm sure they get that.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Wagoo mentions in the chat there's something about modal carbonate. Before I do talk about that, I did read that if you actually do own the Argon 8, there's some phase distortion stuff in there. So if you've got, because you know the Argon 8 is a wavetable synth, right? So there's definitely some phase distortion stuff in there. I can't remember. I've got the Argon 8 sitting over there in the rack. I can't fire it up right now, but it's in there. But he mentions in chat, I wonder what PD changes are in the modal Carbon 8. I don't have a Carbon 8. I never got one. But yeah, that'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
So Wags, if if you've got the Carbon 8, go check it out and let us know. Report back. Yeah, I know. The Argon 8 definitely, like, both of those modal synths have got some really cool sort of hidden gems in them too. So you may not need, you might find that that's enough for you. And the editor for them, the iPad app editor, is really cool. It's very graphical, like the Arturia is. Be interesting. I know, was the Carbon 8 more of a virtual analog synth though? Was that originally what it was supposed to be? I can't remember. One of them was. There was the Carbon 8. There was the Cobalt. Was it Cobalt? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was the Argon.
Yeah, enough.
Because they're doing elements by their names, right?
Wago says the Cobalt 8 is the VA.
Yeah, so the Cobalt is the VA. So the Carbon is what? What are they making that one? Modal synths.
Argon is wavetable. Carbon is a mixture of the two.
Okay, so it's like a hybrid of the two. Because it's the newer one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. In that case, it would probably have the same, if it's got the wavetable stuff that the Argon's got in it, it would probably have the same phase distortion stuff that the Argon's got. So do check that out. I know Wags has got an Argon as well. I'm pretty sure it's in there because I remember seeing it years ago and thinking, oh, it's a Casio. Okay. All right. So one thing I think we should chat about too is frequency modulation, or PM. So PM as in a DX7 synth, right? Versus Casio CZ series synths. What's the difference? Both of them start with sine waves, but that's where it pretty much is the only similarity, isn't it, Chris?
Well, they mathematically calculated quite differently. But yeah, one's adjusting the phase or frequency of the carrier signal. The modulator's changing the frequency of the carrier modulator changes the carrier. So
yep,
means you can change it. So it can do similar kind of things to the waveform in the sense that you are making it going faster and slower along the PD, but it can do it over more than one cycle.
Yeah,
and you don't have to have an envelope to do that, to make it change between cycles. It just does it by itself.
Yeah.
So you get a more time domain kind of vibe out of it if you're using multiples that are non-linear. Because that's the thing about FM, is you can go beyond the cycle. You can go, as well as your multiples of cycles, you can go your halves and your quarters and your three quarters. And that's where you get all the clangorous tones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Using non-linear frequency relationships between the carrier and modulator. So that's why FM can go really bonkers quite quickly, because you can get outside of those bounds very quickly.
And then obviously when you pair that modulator and the carrier together, that becomes the operator, and the FM synth has multiple operators, and
structures.
Yeah.
Structures of those operators, which means you're getting complex interrelations between different operators. So if you imagine the Casio's phase distortion, if they had phase distortion and then something else that did distortion on that, and then something else that did distortion on that, and so on and so on and so forth, you'd be getting at something a bit more complex like FM, but it still wouldn't sound the same because of the boundaries within which it can't go out of. If you know what I mean? Because it's stuck into that single cycle.
Yep.
In phase distortion, that means you can't go beyond that, whereas FM, you can get mad kind of tonal changes over periods of time, because it's, as I said, you can go outside the bounds of a single cycle waveform. That's the way I understand it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of understanding it. So the other question that people would have is, okay, Casio can't be the only people that are doing phase distortion. Are there some modern products out there that I can attack phase distortion with? Well, one of them is actually in Eurorack. And I don't know if you guys have heard of WMD. They actually do this module here called the PDO, which is basically a phase displacement oscillator, but it works as a VCO in a way, and it uses phase modulation as well. So this is kind of like a little bit of both worlds, like a bit of DX7 and a bit of Casio in one. And, so that is kind of a handy little thing. But it does, so what I would say this is like a modern version of, it's not a very good picture that, of a phase distortion oscillator that's been built probably in the last 5 or 6 years. But you can see in here, you've got your phase controls. It's a little bit too fuzzy to see, but those second row of knobs are like a phase timing control, your negative and positives, and then you've got CV controls of all of that with an attenuator. Yeah, and then on top of up the top, you've got your wave shapes, and you've got your tuning and things like that.
Yeah,
so
basic pitch and octave.
Yeah. So it's kind of
it breaks
cool.
it out for you.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And that's a Eurorack equivalent. Now, the other thing too is I was researching this during the week, and I thought, can I make a phase distortion setup in Eurorack using analog oscillators? And the answer is you can. You absolutely can. It's a lot more complex than getting the Arturia VST out and playing around with it, because you're actually having to create your own phase distortion manually on the sine wave, and then play around with it using envelopes and LFOs and things like that. So yes, you can, and you'll end up probably using 4 or 5 modules to actually achieve it. It's kind of rudimentary, and it really defeats the purpose, which is why digital wins that kind of setup, because to do it analog electronics, it would be very complex analog circuits to do it.
So the other option, of course, is you can get the sizzle from ALM Busy Circuits, which is an emulation, again, of sort of one voice of a CZ1 or 1000, I think.
Yep.
I have since that came out, and we showed it on the show.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that sparked my interest in PD as something I wanted to get at some stage. I quite like the idea of something with the envelopes already in there and everything put together. Sometimes
it's it there.
You kind of want that. Yeah, that one. Obviously a bigger module, and
one of the things
is definitely a digital module.
Oh, it definitely is, because the ALM guys are DSP extraordinaires. But this kind of does remind me quite a bit of the Sid Guts Deluxe architecture, where you've got the chord and
it's the same kind of sort of attitude, but done with PD. But that was the first one I heard, those resonant waveforms, and thought, oh, I like that.
Yeah, they're good fun, those resonant waveforms, where you get those little squiggly little sine waves creaming up. It really does sound like it's been filtered. That's what it sounds like, but it's really just the way sine waves sound if you start manipulating them. I love it. It's great. And I guess you've got all these other types of synthesis that you can play with. You can play with additive synthesis. You can get yourself into Buchla land if you want to. There's other synths that do additive that are interesting out there. So it just depends what you feel like. And maybe you may want to have a little bit of all of them sprinkled around your studio so that one day you can go, I'm in an additive mood today, or I'm in a phase distortion mood today, or I'm in an FM mood today. Yeah. But going back to this, I mean, we're not selling this. This is just a really sort of quick and dirty way to get yourself into the market. You don't need to rush out and buy this. You can get yourself, there's some free, someone was saying in chat, there are some free phase distortion VSTs out there as well. Yep. Did you guys enjoy that? Was that like, did we cover, do you think we've covered phase distortion at a basic level enough for you guys to sort of go, oh, kind of like, I've always heard about the Casio stuff.
You can sort of demystifies the technology a bit and gives you a way in. Yeah, soft intro. Yeah, seems alright.
Yeah, for me, I'd still love to get my hands on a CZ. For me, the CZ 1000, I think, is the one that generally people sort of love. The CZ1 is the original. There was 2000 and 5000, I believe, as well. Yeah. So if you do get yourself, if you find one somewhere in a garage and someone's selling it cheap, snap it up. The only thing, the only gotcha is those digital chips. Once they go, that might be a problem to repair. So that's the only gotcha with that sort of technology. What prices are they?
Custom.
That's a damn good question. What should we reverb it? I did have a look.
Now it's time to go to the market report with Ranzee.
Well, let's look at the CZ1. Okay.
It's Casio keyboards.
$3,000 Aussie. Shall we change this to US dollars just to make everyone happy? I'll change it to US.
That's only fair.
Yeah, just kind of everyone can sort of work it out from there. Good. So 2,000 US. Here, let's go to reverb. So we've got 2,000 US for a CZ1 here, all the way to 950, 850. So yeah, and then you've got the CZ 1000, or the 101, right? There's the 101. I don't know if they're going to have any of these. No, we won't do the 101
Parts for them, but
yeah. CZ 1000. There's the CZ 1000 there. 500. Some of them, don't forget too, some of these have got the different size keyboards. So the CZ 1000 is that one with and then you've got the CZ 3000. That's not a bad price. $300. Sorry, $500. It's in Japan. There you go. The 3000. A lot of people do like the 3000. It's a bigger unit.
yeah, big keyboard. Yeah.
And then the 5000, which people seem to say is the flagship one. I don't know. I kind of feel like a CZ1 is kind of cool, but there's a 5000 there, and you're just getting more.
Front panel controls.
More front panel controls. But still, no matter how they cook it, they've got this really...
It's still the same
data entry thing in the middle here. So it's still death by numbers, unfortunately, when you buy one of these. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of twiddling and turning things. There's a lot of click, 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 click.
Yeah, the CZ one's the one I showed at the first. That's the one I wanted to get. CZ1 or CZ 1000, I think it was. I think it's the one, isn't it? One of them has velocity aftertouch or something. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it might be this one.
CZ1 is...
Yeah, that looks
velocity.
to me... I'm sorry, I'm not showing it to you guys. That looks to me like the flagship there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a few anyway. There was a few. So, yeah. So you guys, if you're in the market for shopping around for getting one, there's a few different options. Wag said the mini keys is on the 101. Okay, so I've got a friend who's got a 101 and he swears by it. He says it's completely fine. The midi keys, you don't care. It's not like one of these. You don't need to play it like a piano. Aftertouch. Yeah, maybe. Mind you, though, apparently with the which is the one that has aftertouch? Is it the CZ1? One of them might have aftertouch. I don't know. Whatever it is, that can be assigned to a modulation thing as well. Yeah, you can always MIDI it up. Yeah. Yep. Only velocity. Okay. So only velocity, not aftertouch. Well, there you go. I think with that Arturia plugin, I think there might be some aftertouch. I don't know if I saw it under modulations. There's 9 to 16. I don't know. Maybe there's not. I can't see an aftertouch thing anywhere here. If I'll go to one of the Arturia presets. It's always a good way to go. So like a brass sound. Okay, let's do this. There's no aftertouch. I've got aftertouch on my key step, and it's not. So I don't. Maybe it's no aftertouch on that either.
If you check the mod sources.
Yeah, I did. There's nothing
page.
there. Nothing there.
Okay.
Yeah.
No AT.
No AT.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bum. I don't know. Maybe there is on the. Don't forget, my version of the Arturia CZ is an older one. So I'll let you know my version, just so people are playing on. I am on version 1.8.
Your mileage may vary.
You have to pick aftertouch from the list. Is there a list?
There's a list.
There is a list.
Why don't you show us, Rant?
I don't think it's on my version. Okay, so maybe that's in a newer update. There's the list there. Global Line 1 mod effects. Hang on.
That's a destination selection.
That's a
source
destination
selection.
Ah, there it is. There
it is.
Hooray!
Wunderbar.
So you do have aftertouch. There you go.
There you go.
Good on you, Kosh.
Thanks, mate.
I'm getting tired. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I've had some fun playing with the Korg Micro Korg
time.
this week. I've also had some fun
Yeah.
playing with a string machine. That's been cool.
Turn it on and it sounds instantly good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's not much more than it. Not much more that does than that, right?
It just does it brilliantly.
Get the French man out.
Exactly. Where's that flying car?
Dead Man, it's the Behringer Selena. And they've actually done a really, really good job of it. So some of these Behringer clone products that they've brought out over the last many, many years that they've been doing them for, they've done some really good jobs. So the ones that I will definitely, Chris will probably agree with me, the Cobalt is brilliant. They've done a really good job of the RSF Cobalt clone. The Model D, they've done a brilliant job of that. The Selena is amazing. It sounds exactly like a vintage Selena. The phaser on it was actually, I'm a big phaser person, right? So I would tell you if the phaser is shit. It's actually really good. They've done a good job on the phaser. So, and obviously the ARP 2600, they've done a good job of that as well. Yeah, Neutron's not a clone though. So Neutron, Bicky, is a great product just in its own right. Definitely agree. But as a clone, I'm talking about Selena, Cobol, Model D, Pro 800. Definitely did a good job of that. What else would you say, Chris? You've got a few others too, don't you?
Do I? Cobol. You got the Cobol too now. No, I don't have any other Behringer clones.
Pro 1.
No.
Pro 1's a good one. And I remember Andy Brooks, you guys know Andy Brooks. He's got an actual original
he
Pro
loves
1,
this.
and he said
He's
the
got both,
Behringer is actually really good. So if you like the Pro 1 by Behringer is good. Yeah. I haven't tried, the ones I haven't bought and I haven't tried is the MS-20, I think they're calling it the K something or other.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so that one I haven't
K1.
tried.
K1 and K2.
K1? Okay.
K1 and K2.
So I haven't tried that. Oh, I've got the MS-101 or MS-1. That's pretty good as well.
Yeah.
What
the
else?
SH1 or SH
Yeah, the SH-101.
clone. Yeah. No, I mean the keyboard one. With
Yeah,
the
that's what I've got.
array and the-
Sitting over there. Oh, you can't see it because the drum thing's in the way. The Cat I haven't tried. What else is there? That Model 15 thing, which I kind of feel I'm confused about what that product actually is.
Model 15.
Yeah.
We haven't tried. Well, none of us have tried the 2XM yet.
Like you can't get it yet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we can't try it.
The Cat's a bass monster, eh, Bicky? Nice. I think
303.
I think the Cobol's a bass monster.
Oh, absolutely.
The square wave on that literally is a subwoofer blower. Take it to a club and get kicked out in 2 seconds.
Yes. I can attest to that, to some of that anyway. Thank you. That's why I forked out for the more expensive speakers so they can handle that.
Yeah, make sure you treat it before you put it through those.
Oh. Yeah, check your spectrum.
Yeah, the Oberheim ones that we were just talking about, I actually want to get my hands on the 2XM.
Yep.
Because I kind of feel like that is definitely a little mono synth sound that I'd like to have in here. You know, it is truly, it's the SEM, the voice.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to double check to see if you can get them yet, because I thought they were arriving really soon.
Yeah, I stopped looking at them because I didn't want to be tempted.
No, it's still saying it's coming.
Yeah.
But it is a two voice, that's the thing. It's not just one voice.
Exactly, that's what makes it really cool.
Yeah, that's what does make it good, eh? Yeah. But anyway, the thing that stopped me from buying the Selena for a while, it's been out for ages now, that thing, is purely because I've got a Strike Fet, and the Strike Fet is so good at doing string emulation. It's brilliant. It's actually, I've told people this before, it's actually one of the few string emulations that does it in digital where they actually properly emulate divide down. So it's not just emulating polyphony and, playing sawtooth waves across many, many notes. It actually properly emulates divide down. So that's why it excels at what it does.
Yeah, analog circuit behavior is basically what it is.
Yeah. And
It's
they also
emulating analog circuit.
They also have Logan. That's in the Strike Fet. They've got a Selena sound, a Logan sound, and it may have been the Freeman. I'm not sure. I can't remember if the Freeman was in there, but it actually lists it on their website. They'll tell you what's in there. So, you've got a few of the different string sounds in there, and they do a pretty good job emulating them anyway. But that doesn't sound like this.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've got digital effects on it, so I'll turn them off. That's the other thing I love about it. If you're down in the bottom notes,
Yeah, it's that
you can play the
real jar
contrabass.
sound, isn't it? Yeah, it's great.
Although you can do it, you can get an oxygen sound out of this thing too, if you want to. Is it this one? Yeah. I might turn it down a little bit for this. Can easily get the oxygen sound. Anyway, have fun with the Salinas, guys. They're really cheap. I picked mine up for about 360 Aussie, which is, I feel, it's a steal. And that's from a retail shop here in my city. I'll just tell Chris this because you'll understand. I went to DJ City in Malaga.
Okay.
And they said they had 2 in stock. So I drove all the way out to Malaga. You know, it's a bit of a trek out there, packed lunch stuff, right?
Yes.
And I got out there and the guy goes, yeah, we got 2 in stock. And he starts looking really worried after about 5 minutes. He's like turning the shop apart. And he goes, I can't find it, mate. The system says we've got 2 here. But I can't find any. He's gone upstairs into the loft and he's like looking under shelves and he looked really, really stressed out. I said, look, mate, how long would it take you to get one in? Because it's a good price. It's about $30 cheaper than the other shop. He goes, yeah, no, it's cool. There's one over in the warehouse on the other side of Australia. We'll ship it over. It'll take about 5 days. I went, that's cool, mate. Just give us a text when it's in. No problem. And that was a week ago. And then I got a message on Friday to go pick it up. So I packed lunch again, back out to Malaga. This time he had
double trip. Yeah, it's annoying, but
yeah. But there's a cool little pizza shop out that way where you can buy pizza by the slice.
Sweet. So you put on a couple of pounds while you were there.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm like. Fat bastard. Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we can end the show, guys.
Sounds
you guys
good.
enjoy it? Give us a thumbs up.
Have you done the synth quiz? Did I miss it?
Oh, we've got to do the last one, don't we? And no one's guessed it yet.
Jeez. Well,
no one's guessed it yet. Well, how about we give you the last clue?
Let's see.
Assignable. Ah, look, that one didn't work. Maybe I didn't change the font on that one. Or didn't I save it after I changed the font? I don't know. Assignable is your last clue. Maybe I need.
And
to
yes,
change.
Paul. While you're doing that, Paul, the park waves gig was great. It was nice and sunny, and it was just a good day. Shame you didn't make it. Or did you make it? Or did you say he was coming? I can't remember whether you said he was on it. No, he didn't make it.
Well, I want you guys to comment because so far there's only been 2 people that have guessed for the synth quiz. I want you guys to comment. Was this quiz this week difficult or was it easy? Because there's only 2 people that have put guesses in. That's Chris and Wags. Check. Nice try, buddy. Bicky's gone for the Moog Mother 32. Okay. What do you think it is, Manny? Did you get the clues, Manny, or did you come into the show too late? So Wags got it at clue 2. I think clue 1 should have given it to you, really. Clue 1 should have given it to you, according to the Quizmaster anyway. And by the way, I'll give you guys the answer in a sec, but I can tell you right now that the person who set this quiz was taking a little piss take at Ian for being away, because this quiz is basically something that Ian has asked for the quiz to be this, and that is the Korg DW8000. So Wags, you're correct, mate.
Oh, it's missing the G.
Oh,
Dang.
just kill me now.
Look at my
Darren.
screen I have down here. DW8000 was one of my guesses, but I highlighted Proper VS. Oh! Close.
There we go. Yeah, DW8000 Wags, you can say that you've beaten Steve the Bastard. No, he knew this was an easy one this week.
Yeah.
So Steve,
Breakpoint is such a Korg term.
good on you,
Right
Steve.
here on the envelope.
Next week, if you want to be a quiz master, let us know. All you have to do is give me 3 clues and the name of the synth. I will not tell a soul. It'll be completely mum's the word. But good old Steve, he actually had people completely cooked for the last 2 weeks until he gave them an easy one this week. Yeah. But he knew that Ian will be watching on the replay, and you watch within a few days, there'll be a comment on this video from Ian. Is he living up to his name? Well done, Wags. You can walk around with a swagger. You haven't won it for a while. It's been a while, mate. It's been a while. I reckon it's because he stopped asking Jeeves. I think so. You know, when you play honestly. No, I'm just kidding. The bastard nailed it. Yeah, he's a good man. Good on you, Steve. All right, boys and girls, I think we should end the show. And next week, we'll be here with something new, probably.
Cool.
Daren's going to tell us all about his... going to be a bit more prepared and have information about his show. Aren't you, Daren? Because people actually want to know
About my show.
park.
Yeah, about your wave park thing, wave in the park thing.
The next waves in the park, it'll most likely to be April next year.
Okay. Well,
If there's anything else changes, I'll update.
if you've got some photos that you want to share with everyone, send them through to me and I can share them on the stream.
If I have,
All right.
I'll see if I can find any. I didn't
Good
take
man.
any, but there might be some.
Someone else took them, yeah. All right. Other than that, be nice to your mum, press record, all that sort of stuff. Thanks, Daren, and thanks,
I'll
Chris.
take care.
And we'll see you next week.
No worries. Take care, everyone. Have a good one. Stay synthy.